Oh my. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review. Vikings Season 5, Episode 13, A New God. And Ivar's the new god. I gotta say right off the bat, this was an episode I enjoyed. I was a little down on last week's episode, a little bit too much romance. This episode had enough in it that really made me like it. Although I wish sometimes they'd slow down and relax in some scenes because they get some good stuff going on. And again, just to reiterate what someone said in the live chat, and I feel the same way, I still am not sure exactly what the Iceland stuff's all about, but it is there, and Floki's an amazing actor, and some of the visuals we get are pretty crazy. But I do have to say, again, I very much like this episode from beginning to end. It held my interest. A lot of really cool stuff happened in it. Alfred's pushing himself, obviously, as a big main character in the show. I thought Ubbe and Torvi's scene after they were baptized was fucking hilarious. When they're sitting there talking, and be like, do you feel different? I don't feel different. Do you feel different? It really rang true. I like the Ivar and Hitzok stuff that we got there. I generally like the bishop in this episode. He was a little toned back. Lagatha again hasn't aged a minute, and I love how they're not even trying with her anymore. Each episode she looks younger and younger. Judith's the same way. We progressed, as I said, with the Alfred storyline. We progressed with the King Finehair stuff, which I thought was pretty good too. This seemed to be setting up all the blocks for some action coming in. And obviously people that watch the show know I'm like a distracted cat sometimes, and I need to bat at things that go past my eyes. So sometimes I need some action, especially on a show like Vikings that I think does it really damn well. And we're setting up a very interesting conflict. And of course, Magnus comes into play here, or comes back into the story. Last time we saw him, he was very, very small. And still there is some speculation if Ragnar's the daddy. But just like Ivar's wife, what's her name, Freyas or something, whatever, how she handled the situation, so there can be no Viking Maury situation coming out where it goes, excuse me, Ivar, you are not the father. We're not going to get any of that because she took care of business, and Ragnar's gone too. But when Ragnar was asked if he did, impregnate Crazy Pants there, now the music's coming back. He said he just peed in her or something like that. So it's potential that Magnus isn't really a kid of Ragnar, but I tend to think that he is, and we connected with him and Bjorn, which was a really interesting dynamic between the two of them too, which could move things forward in a cool way. And I kind of like the actor that played Magnus, and I thought that was pretty good as well. So I think there was enough really cool stuff in this episode. And it's not that I don't like the Iceland stuff. Let me just get right to this stuff, because it's not like I don't like it or I don't like Floki. Floki is fucking charming as shit. The character's charming. When he gets into his whole thing, every time Floki's on screen, I pay attention to it. But to me, and I could be wrong, other people could feel differently about this, those scenes play off like a broken record, like you're watching Groundhog's Day. It's the same thing over and over again. It's like you ring a bell and they play the same thing over and over again. It's, okay, Floki brings them together with some big speech. Something happens, someone dies or disappears, which causes the two groups to fight again. Floki sits and ponders and thinks about dying. Rinse, repeat. Floki talks about the gods killing him and bringing back air. Blah, 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 blah. It's almost like he's just in this huge holding pattern. It's a shame because the character, as I said, is compelling as fuck, and the actor plays him to perfection. But every single other character, I can't care about another character in that Iceland situation. What I thought they were going to do at the beginning of the episode, when Floki kind of puts everything back together and everyone's like, peace, love, happiness, whatever. Skull, yeah, skull, drink, drink, drink. Yeah, skull, drink, motherfuckers, drink. I thought maybe they'd go away from it for a little bit, and then we just wouldn't see it again. But they brought it back, and they broke it down eventually. And I hate doing this because I'm not complaining about having Floki in every episode. All I'm saying is write something more interesting for him, or progress that storyline to some point, or abandon it and come back to it a couple times in the season and have us miss out on a little bit of having that awesome actor on screen, because it's not that it even takes away from the episode. It's the time that I get up and go get something out of the refrigerator, or I go to the bathroom, or I check my phone or something. It's like the section of the episode where it completely takes me out. And I don't know why that is. And again, if someone feels differently about that in the comment section, or I'm not alone tonight, I have the live motherfucking chat. Or if anyone feels differently about those scenes, I'd love to hear it. And you can also call in at 781-990-8509. Again, 781-990-8509. The phone lines may be open, but at least leave a voicemail if I don't get to you. Joe cannot join us this week, but next week we will not be on right after Vikings. We'll be on the next day, on Thursday at some point, or Friday at the latest. My band has a gig on Wednesday night. Oh, it's a big gig on a Wednesday night. But no, we have a gig on Wednesday night, and I won't be able to do the episode recap. I won't be able to probably watch the episode until Thursday. So next week will be on Thursday or whenever Joe can do it. So Joe will be with us next week. And also this coming Sunday evening on whatever the hell date it is, the next Sunday, or check the next video on the channel, Joe and I will try to be on this Sunday for some sort of broadcast of some sort. We haven't figured it out yet. So let's go into the live motherfucking chat. Oh, holy shit. We've got some great friends. We got Jeffrey. Go Dodgers. Judas is distractingly too young. And they're not even trying it. Okay. At least with Lagatha, I see Fury in the live motherfucking chat that wants to vote Floki off the island. That's funny because Survivor was on today. No, but Judith is distractingly too young. It is. In the Princess Leia haircut that they're putting on her, it doesn't help her look any older either. At least with Lags, it's not really effective, but at least they're putting a middle school wig on her, or spraying some of that Halloween shit that you can put in people's hair to make them slightly, give them the gray hair. Why can't hairspray paint? Is that what it's called? I don't even. Hairspray, that colored hairspray? I don't give a fuck. Judith is getting distracted. Cool hat. Thank you, Hannibal. This was given to me and Joe by his dad. Alfred's getting Athelstan. Hello, motherfucking chat. We got Lady Dreamfire in the live motherfucking chat. And hey, Steph Snow. Great to see Steph Snow. The gods are not speaking to him. He's very upset. And again, I feel like I'm being an asshole by complaining about the Floki scenes, because I think he's the best actor on the show. In fact, I'm sure of it, that he's the best actor still on the show. I think there's a lot of good shit going on, and I don't mean to piss on anybody else's performances. They're all, everyone's doing a pretty damn good job. But Floki, Gustavo, whatever his name is, if I'm going to fuck up his name, he is the best actor on the show. His character draws in screen presence like no other. And he's the only one left that kind of gives me, the other characters give me that kind of feeling, but there's just a gravitas to Floki's character. He's been around since the beginning. I know Lagatha and Rollo have been around since the beginning too. I guess Lagatha does to a certain extent as well, if it wasn't for the ridiculous wig. but it's hard with her because of the lack of aging, and also they're sort of in a holding pattern with her character as well, and I don't think really doing as much as they could. But her character's reached an end and probably should have died at the end of last season, if you ask me. But I think Rollo still has it to a certain extent too. But Floki that actor just brings so much to every second. The character makes some stupid decisions, but you go with it because of the actor's performance. The way he is now, it's making me go, ugh, in his scenes, and it sucks. It reminds me of some of the complaints that you could get with, if you just have like the best actor in a show and they know it's the best, so they either write too much or they don't know what to write with him, but he was best when he's just used in the right natural way. I don't know. Now I'm just bitching about an episode I really liked, and these were such short scenes, so what the fuck am I crying about? Because it was a really fucking great episode. I just want it to be an excellent episode. And when you have that fucking weapon in your pocket, when you have that great talent, use it at the right time. Don't just keep him on the bench in Iceland, sitting there on a beautiful, extremely beautiful landscape. I mean, if someone called in and told me, hey, Phil, I work in Vikings. The reason why they're doing that Iceland stuff is because it looks fucking beautiful, and we want to shoot all that amazing beauty, all that splendor. We want to shoot all that splendor. So if that's the reason, and they want to do it because they love shooting there and it's beautiful, and they just can't think of anything clever to do because it's just, hundreds of years before everything gets figured out there, they just kind of can't just go away from it without, they have to do it and somehow lead up to Floki's death or some big situation. Like, I get it, whatever. But right now it's all right. It's just, there's nothing bad about it to me. There's nothing like offensively bad. It's just nothing's happening except for the same thing. Anyways, it was okay, but nothing really happened. We've been waiting for 2 weeks for that fucking sacrifice. I'm going to talk about that in a second, Bernie. I don't like how they Walking Dead the end of this episode, where they totally gave us that preview from for next week, last week, when it said, there's going to be a sacrifice, brother. Who's the sacrifice? I'm the sacrifice. Blah, blah, blah. And make us ask all the questions. Blubbity blue blah. Is it going to be Hit since he's going to be the one that dies? And they even make it a point by having the character be hooded in this episode to kind of make you feel who's going to be the one. But if anyone watched the previews for next week, slight spoiler ahead if you don't want to maybe be spoiled for the next episode, but it could be wrong. I could be just full of shit. I'm pretty sure we hear for a second the end of that rant by Ivar at the end of the trailer where he says, and we've seen it in the previous trailer too, or for the season, because I guess it's nothing new, where he says, we have Lagatha as a sacrifice. So what I'm guessing is going to happen, excuse me, is he selected someone at random and he's going to kill them and pretend that they're Lagatha, or someone that looks familiar to Lagatha or something like that. I don't think it's going to be Hits. I think if it was to be him, he would have been in this episode. It would have been a perfect way in this episode. A good lead up, the way Ivar's looking at him and, brother, I want to kill you, brother. And all that sort of shit, going all lore on him, lore to data, reminding me of having to do my data lore video. But anyways, the more this goes on, the less I think it's gonna be Hits. Let's continue in the live chat. Nicole Jenkins. Sorry. Ex-Warcraft player. Why is Lagatha's hair white? Because they are attempting to age her. Unlike a lot of the characters, they chose not to age Lagatha. Instead, she aged in a really weird way that happens in 1/1000,000th% of the population through history. It only happens so that means like 1/1,000,000,000th or something of the population. So it happens very, very rarely. I underestimated it. And Lagatha historically had this ailment, which causes her to not age for many, many years. And then suddenly age in a quick burst of time and then start to reduce and look younger again. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's fucking true. Shit or get off the pot. That's what you're doing. Gotta catch up in the live motherfucking chat. Let's go. Is there a point to the Floki stuff that they're keeping a secret? Maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's something I don't even know. Finally, King Harold's ambition is back. And I love King Harold in this episode. And seeing him right from the smiles that he gives. We got King McKay in the live chat. As I say every week, make sure you're checking out King McKay's Viking stuff. The best Viking coverage out there. So yeah, I love King Harold in this episode. I thought he was killing it. And I think he's one of the more interesting characters. And he wins my Come the Most Far award. Bad. Not a good award. But to the point where I really didn't like his character and was like, oh God, this guy when he first showed up, to the point now where he's one of my favorite characters. It's like Bernie says to the Lagatha point, it's like the actors want to allow them to make her look old. Even if they made dark circles under Judith's eyes or some gray in her hair. Come on. Steph Snow. Great to see Steph Snow in the live chat. If there's a point to the focus stuff, I want to know. It's Santovia Major in the live motherfucking chat. Gustafov Skarsgård as Floki. Thank you. And hopefully I did not destroy his name, but he is, I think, I wouldn't say hands down because you can make arguments, but in my mind, hands down, the best actor in the show. We got Mike in the live chat as well. The Walking fucking David, lots of Splenda. Top Shelf, they should send a drone to. We got Top Shelf Entertainment, Justin in the live chat. What happened tonight? What did we learn? Engagement, baptism, Heahmund. Like the new setup, Phil. You feeling at home in your new place yet? Not quite yet. I'm getting there. I still have that shit in boxes, uncomfortable anxiety kind of feeling, and there's some shit going on. It's tough. You got to get used to. Sometimes it takes a while to get used to your place, but I am excited for it, and I do love the new setup here. It's very, very cool. Maybe this is just a build-up to some sorts. I hope so, lady. I hope that we're getting to a point where the Floki stuff is going to lead to something big. It just seems like they've been doing the same thing there now for a season and a half, or however long it's been. And I liked it better when it was Floki alone on the island. When we had the Floki, I wouldn't have minded if they did for the rest of Floki's existence on the show, him alone, and being the Tom Hanks castaway thing. I could have got. They did bait and switch us all a couple times, King McKay, with that stuff. They just, and it's interesting. Vikings hasn't, in my memory, really played with a cliffhanger and this kind of thing in a while. I mean, who wants to be king? I mean, they left on certain cliffhangers or certain notes, but not Neganing us a little bit here. Giving us the half Negan here. Fandom D Saint, speaking of Negan and coming back on Supernatural, Fandom D Saint probably excited for the return of Jeffrey D. Morgan to Supernatural. Great to see they set up next week, last week. Yes, Bernie. I love Vikings, but we do have to call them on that because they definitely did. They definitely set up next week, last week. Sorry, I'm a little behind the chat. I'm getting up because they did. They gave us the same teaser in 2 episodes in a row, essentially, which is fine. It just leads me to believe that, or leads me more to my point of last week's episode being I don't know if unneeded is the word. I think if I haven't said this already, I think this is the best episode of the season, or the half a season. I like episode 1, and I like this episode even better. Episode 2, I was a little bit down on, especially in retrospect and rewatching it again tonight. I think this episode finally. Bernie was asking what happened in this episode. I think finally in this episode we set the pieces. So this was the needed one. This probably should have been episode 2 with parts of what happened in episode 2 mixed in this episode. If I'm playing Johnny Monday morning quarterback editor. But that's just for my personal interest. But seriously, fuck me. What should happen is this should just be one long episodic 3-hour, well, not 3 hour, 3-hour, 10-hour saga that just never ends and just kind of fades to black and then fades back in. It shouldn't even be episodic like this. But in the dream scenario, the way this would have panned out for me, I think I would have rather this episode have been the follow-up to episode 1, leading into whatever's going to happen next week as episode 3. Because it seems like they're stalling a little bit getting into the fun, because I don't need action all the time in the Vikings, but I think Vikings excels when it bounces episodes like this off of episodes with interesting conflicts and setting up strategies and things like that. And I think you did get that in this episode, especially with Finehair. But again, it was a lot of him biding his time and his forces and setting up the interesting conflict that we're going to get with Finehair attacking Wessex when we have the Vikings there, and what's going to happen with Lagertha and Bjorn and now Magnus and Ubbe and Torvi when Harold King Finehair shows up. Are they going to go on his side and fight against Wessex? Are they going to turn on him? Like, how is that going to affect the battle? I think that's really cool stuff that's leading up. And then the obvious attack on Kattegat when he's going to try to take it over from Ivar. And then the Bjorn Magnus stuff I think is going to be a really cool way of progressing too. Anyways, let's zip this zippity zippity. King McKay, who is the sacrifice? I see Fury. I got a big theory for the sacrifice brewing. It could be me overthinking, but I wanna hope. People like, tell me. I moved the wheel closer so I can get to it and don't have to get up. Blue Steel, good to see Blue Steel. I see Fury. King McKay knows how to do a tease. Make sure you tune into King McKay's channel and check out his latest video so he can tell you. I did shave. It'll be back soon. I'm like Teen Wolf sometimes, Jay. It just goes and back. It just grows very, very quickly. I did. Blue Steel, I see Fury, King McKay, all of you guys. So the old seer is alive. I be damned. I know. He just showed up. I miss the old seer. And I'm glad. For a long time, I remember Joe, Katie, and I all thought that that Floki was going to become the seer. Excuse me. Let me mute this for a second because you guys don't want to hear me drink. What I should have done is play drinking music. Do 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 do. Okay, so enough of this foreplay. What am I doing? I set up some foreplay. I'm podcast hard enough. Let's get into this shit. Where is it? Where's the damn music? I'm still not used to this damn area. Push it. Sit it. Play it, Miles Edward O'Brien. Oi, Phil. Recap. Whoops. Time for the recap of this episode. I just kicked my microphone. I was like, oh, fuck this. I'm kicking my microphone. I'm done with this shit. No recap tonight. Lady, what is my thoughts on Ivar's wife? Very interesting, cold-blooded. I love the scene with her killing the guy that's Ivar's, or that's the kid's father, just to kind of destroy that witness or any possibility of that guy making a claim to the kid. Although I wonder who her bodyguard assailant person is, and is it someone that's in it with her, or is it just one of Ivar's guards that she said that she just took with her and said, I need to kill this guy for whatever reason. I generally like this actress that's playing this character. I think her manipulation of Ivar isn't being played out on the screen too heavy-handed. It's subtle enough. Granted, Ivar has to be pretty stupid to suddenly think all this, but from what we've led to believe for Ivar, and I'm an Ivar fan on this show, I can buy that someone could manipulate him into thinking he was a god, because the character we've seen since those first scenes when he's going with Ragnar, which I thought was some of his best work. I've generally been a big fan of Ivar, and I think as much as this shows he's just stupid, it's very believable that this side would be blocked, that someone could manipulate him in this fashion, and that he would be willfully ignorant about this because he wants to believe he is a god. I am a god here. He truly wants to embrace that feel. He loves it. He loves it. And with the history of saying their family is connected to Odin and the true belief that he has and the full all-in he is with all this crap, it makes sense to me in a weird level that Ivar would buy this line of bullshit. I mean, it may come to a point like Hitzak said in this episode, listen, you can't have kids. And Ivar didn't bat an eyelash saying, no, I am a god. I know it. You know it. I am a golden god and I piss on everybody. It is true. And whether he believes it or not, he's accepting willful ignorance. And ultimately, willful ignorance is a beautiful thing if you can get it. I can't always get that. Let me break this shit down personally here. I can't willfully be ignorant. If I know there's an elephant in the room, I can't help but go, there's a fucking elephant in the room. Look at the fucking elephant. What the fuck? We can't sit here. We can't be calm. We can't hang out. There's a fucking elephant in the room. We got to talk about this. And that could literally drive another human crazy that you have to be around or deal with on a regular basis. So the best way to be sometimes is willfully ignorant. Maybe not to the point of, whoa, this is my kid. But in some cases, a little bit of willful ignorance is all right. Ivar is all in with that ignorance. And obviously for him, it's unhealthy. But whatever. With someone like him where probably everyone's going to be trying to be the king, why not? When you're in that kind of position in this kind of world, yeah, fuck it. You're a god. Who cares? You're just as much a god as anyone else says they're a fucking god. Whatever. I'm a god. Dude, I'm a god. I'm the god of tits and wine. Oh, I'm the god of tits and wine. Whatever. Who gives a fuck? But so I don't really care about that, but it was a good pick. Does Joe watch the show? Yes, it does. Yes, he does, but he has to work. He usually does join me. In fact, he's the one that got us starting to recap this. Joe will be with us next week on either Thursday or Friday. It just happens to be the 3 weeks of this episode, he's been working each of the 3 days. Will Ubbe and Bjorn part company? I wonder if when the shit goes down, you better be ready. And I wonder if Bjorn will go to Harold's side, but I don't think so. No, he won't. No, he won't, because Harold was on Ivar's side. I think there's a fight a brewing between the two of them. And I loved that scene. I would go above to say I loved the scene with Ubbe and Bjorn. I thought both those actors, I can't remember them interacting a shit ton. And I like the fact that we have the brothers broken up into certain pairs now. And I think Bjorn and Ubbe play off each other pretty well. And I'm saying this a lot about a lot of things in this episode. I like Ubbe a lot in this episode. I talked about this earlier, especially the scene with him and Torvi where they were figuring out, or do I feel different now? It reminded me of, you take some, you put something on your tongue, or are you feeling it yet? I don't feel it yet. Unless they let out Hitzak's dreads, the sacrifice in the trailer has long hair and looks like a woman, says Blue Steel. And yeah, that's what I think it's going to be in a Lagatha clone. It's going to be, and this isn't any big secret. I'm actually very curious to watch King McKay's video and see what he thinks about his theory is. But my theory as of right now is that the trailers that are saying we've got Lagatha, blah, 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 that it's going to be Ivar pretending someone's Lagatha. I think she wants to rule Kattegat. I agree. I think there was a moment when the two of them were walking all in full makeup and heading to the setup here at the end of the episode where I could see it. I could see the moment where she is going to kill him. And the vision that Ivar had last week, was it? When Margaret got killed. And again, Hitzak, this is one of my favorite performances he had too. I'm upset that someone I cared about got killed, Ivar. And that answers our question from last week too. Did Hitzak actually Christopher Maltasante her? And he didn't. Ivar just did this because of the dream he had. So with the dream, I think the dream, he saw Marguerite, but actually he really was having a vision of what she's going to do to him. Once she has that kid, it's all over for Ivar. It's just a matter of time. Unless anything happens to her, the minute that child's born, Ivar's dead. She's going to spoiler alert for Game of Thrones, she's going to go all Cersei on Robert eyes him. It's going to be quick. And it's going to be a pig or a boar, or he's going to die in his sleep, or he's going to die or he's going to go to the gods, or what is it in those Scientology videos? The vessel known as L. Ron Hubbard has risen to the province of blah, blah, bullshit, blah, blah. I forget what it was. I saw that documentary on HBO or whatever. But it's going to be something like that. Like he's dissipated into oneness and gone with the gods, and he's done. The title of this episode should have been, "But Mom, I want to be king." Blue Steel, love that. I see Fury. I still wonder if Ivar might know what his wife did. That is a good point, I see Fury, and I hope they go in that direction. That right when she's about to do whatever she's about to do, he goes, "Well," what kind of voice is that? "Well, I must say, I know what you were doing." I can't do an Ivar. Why am I trying? I'm no Walking David. He's going to call her out on it and say, "I knew all along, and thank you for giving me a son that I will mold in my own." I told you it was Ivar that killed Marguerite. Yeah, you did, Bernie. You were correct about that. I had thought that maybe something else happened there, but you are absolutely right. That was a pretty good Ivar impression. But you are right. I will kill you. My first one was better. The more I'm thinking about it, the worse I'm getting. Gonna watch it now. Hopefully it's good. Joy Buzz. I enjoyed tonight's episode. Definitely enjoyed it more than last week. Ivar went full Kanye this episode. I'm good for you. I'm God. You're a god. We're all a god. Yeah. I'm a god. You're a god. Hey, you want to be a god? Take it. You're a god too. Callie. Motherfucking Callie. In the live motherfucking chat. Ivar has spies. Many spies have many eyes. One ring to fall. One ring to rule them all. One ring to rule them all. Sorry, I got caught in the Flight of the Conchords causality loop. Callie, great to see you, buddy. I see for Santovia Major says, as smart as Ivar is, he is an idiot when it comes to women. And I think when you're in a position, yeah, I was gonna try to make excuses for him, but no, he's just a fucking moron. It's tough though. So it's tough, especially when she's probably the first woman that hasn't made fun of him in some ways, or hasn't been like what Marguerite was to him. Someone he wanted or longed for, but couldn't have in the way he wanted, in the way that she's filling every ounce of his ego in the right way. He's a puppet, but yeah, he's an idiot. He is being an idiot. There's no way around it. I think there's a greater power behind Ivar's wife. It is a conspiracy. Perhaps the definition of a conspiracy is more than one person working on it, and she did have someone working with her tonight. Whether, again, if that was one of Ivar's just minions that she brought with her, one of the Queen's Guard, or so to speak, or it's someone else, and someone else is being in on this, connected and pulling the strings for her, or manipulating, or other people working for her to connect it to it all. It'll be very cool to see. He will have a snake in the eye like the brother he killed. Ooh. Duck says, do you think Ivar knows what his wife is doing? Also, who do you think killed Marguerite, Ivar or Ivar's wife? Ooh. It might have been Ivar's wife. But I tend to because going by his wife's reaction, sorry, I got filled by like 20 thoughts at once. Going by what Ivar's reaction was when Hitzak was saying that, it almost seemed like it was the wife's idea. But I think it was Ivar. If I was guessing, I don't think they were completely clear about it. I could see it going either direction, but I think maybe the dream, or maybe he told her the dream and she said, well, Ivar, you better just kill her. And he said, you know what? I think you're right. You know what? That's why I agree with you. That's why I'm trying to think of something that I'm thinking spoiler alert for reminds me of something that happened in Daredevil. So Ducks, good question. Marguerite was murdered by a plot device dream. Ivar's characterization is off no matter how it's sliced. He's being written badly. He can fall in love, but the real Ivar would be far more cautious. It's bad writing. It's uneven writing for sure. That's why I hope it's a scam. Somehow he's in on the thing. He's doing this for essentially, without the word of a better way of saying this, a mask, someone to stand in place to give him false respect. So everyone thinks, oh, Ivar can child a kid. So everyone in Kattegat believes in him and believes in his legacy. So he can continue that legacy. So Ivar is buying into this bullshit tactically. I think that will only work, because I tend to agree with you, Callie, to a certain extent. But that will only work, what I'm saying here, and what I think some other people might be hoping is going on too, if they pay it off down the road. Not if something bad happens to her, where Hitzak ends up killing her for Ivar, and being like, Ivar, you just need to deal with this. You just need to deal with this. She was lying to you. I have it on good evidence. If something like that happens, that could be interesting, but I do think it needs to be an Ivar reveal to somebody else to bring Hitzak. I know I cannot father a child. Do not be stupid. But the people respect me more that they think this. Ivar is usually skeptical and cynical. It's uneven, to add an extra word to Ivar there. Think of it like this. Ivar would let his brother, he did it because he hates his brother. And I thought one of my favorite moments in this episode, and I'll get to it in the recap that I haven't even started yet, is when Ivar is talking to Hitzak, and he's like, you made fun of me when I was a kid child. He's like, brother, and he's like, I never made fun of you. And he goes, well, you pity me. That's just as bad. Bernie says, I'm calling Freydis working for Harold. Ooh, that's very cool. That is very cool. Lady says, but I feel he's going along with the wife. I don't think he's that stupid at all. Vikings believed in adoption and taking other family members and children as their own. So that very much could be that he's in on it, and he knows he's going to kill her after and take the kid and be like, I'm going to kill you because that's obviously not my kid, but I'm going to take ownership of this child and raise it as my heir. To be a little murderous scamp like me. So let's get into this recap. I'm going to go a little yada yada since I've talked about a lot of this episode already. We open up on a great shot of the countryside, and then we're in Vikings, and Hitzak gives a girl a look, and I want to play some music. I'm in a music-y kind of mode. Let's play this. Where is the loop? Play the loop, motherfucker. Do it. Ivar already killed one brother. Don't think he'll kill another. I tend to agree with that. That's why I don't think Hitzak is the person in the hooded feature. I think he just likes fucking with Hits. I think he enjoys screwing with him, but ultimately he knows that brother has his back. That he knows what he said to him is true. That he came back to him. He is choosing to be with him. And I think when all is said and done, Ivar is going to appreciate that, and it's going to come out. But I like that, Bernie, that Freydis is working for Harold to go on the inside. Maybe she's related to him somehow. Vikings. Oh, Ivar already killed one brother. I don't think it's... Give me the loop. Give me the loop. Okay. You motherfucker. Okay, so we open up the great shot of the countryside, and then it's a Vikings. Hitzak gives a girl a look. Then Ivar toasts Finehair, and they talk some shit back and forth. And they talk about the raids and going to York. Ivar talks some shit, and they basically have one of those, I call them soprano conversations, where two characters say something to each other that they don't really say to each other in the words that they're saying. I wish you best of luck. You know what? I hope all of you guys have a really good night. And he's just like, they're giving each other, I'm gonna fuck you up looks. Now, Hitzak's sitting there looking for something to do, and Ivar calls him and goes, what's wrong? What's wrong, brother? Let me fucking piss you off in front of everybody. And he's sitting there, and Ivar calls him out, and he goes, what the hell is wrong? And he goes, I'm upset. The Margarita's dead. She's dead. And he calls Ivar out for being boneless. And he's like, listen, dude. Listen, dickless. You can't have an heir. You're an idiot. And Ivar says, you'll bet. And I will tell you, my girlfriend got me pregnant. I mean, I got her pregnant. I'm not boneless anymore. By the power of Grayskull, I have a penis. And it can impregnate people. Don't believe me? Look at her belly. And Hitzak says, listen, I liked Marguerite. But she was right about you. You're fucking crazy. Hitzak says, what you gonna do? Kill me next? What you gonna do? Kill me next? I'm also a son of Ragnar. Touch a hair in my head, the people here would be pissed off. I can, in fact, rally these people around you and say, fuck you, Ivar, and take over if I wanted to. I don't know about that, but maybe. He's probably more well liked. And then Ivar says, dude, maybe you should go back to England with Finehair. And it hits, it's like, no, dude, I chose to be with you. I'm pissed off at you, but I'm not leaving you. That's a brother. That's family right there. That's the best kind of people you can hope in your life. I'm pissed off at you, I hate you, but I'm not leaving you. Good evening to Big fucking E. I wish you fortune in the wars to come. Hitzak says, yeah, what are you going to kill me next? Finehair laughs at this. Great tension, great scene. Very, very much liked it. So we go back to Alfred and his number one, his brother, Apple Wolf, some apple. Apple Wolf. And they're talking about the Bishop Heahmund and how See, fortunately they made him a bishop again, so I can call him Bishop, so I don't have to try to pronounce his name and fuck up my throat again. So, the bishop killed the bishop, and they're talking about whether they should make him a bishop again. Which they do make him a bishop by the end of the episode, so therefore, for now on, I'll be referring to him as the bishop. But they talk about how he killed that dude in the church, and then Applesauce is like, dude, I look like Harry Potter without his glasses on. And listen, he doesn't really look. He maybe looks like Daniel Radcliffe's older brother, maybe, or something, or like a puffy Radcliffe a little bit. Whatever. Maybe I'm completely off. I don't know if anyone else sees that. But he's like, listen, anyone kills anybody in a church needs to get killed, and we gotta fuck this bishop up. And Alfred's like, well, I don't know. He's tough. He's on my side. And we gotta research this, and we gotta get into this. And Alfred's like, why'd you kill a holy man in the holy house? Heahmund says, I killed him because he doesn't tell him the truth. He tells Lagertha the truth about why he killed him, but he fortunately has a very well built, put together lie in this situation, that he knows for a fact what what he needs to say here. He's a smart man. And I like I said earlier tonight, as much as I laughed, outwardly found amusing his performance last week, I enjoyed the Bishop's performance in this episode. I found him to be less heavy-handed, and they used him the right amount of time. Not too much. Boone Farm's apple red. Hitsuck is an indecisive coward. Bernie, it would make sense if Freitas is working with Harold. He needs someone in Kattegat working on his side inside Ivar. He seems, and I would add to what Santovia said there, he seems pretty confident about taking over Kattegat after all of this is done, that he needs to have someone on the inside. So I think Bernie might be onto something here. Harold is either working with Freitas or getting sacrificed. His storyline is going nowhere. Remember how crazed he was about being king in Kattegat? Shit is going down behind the scenes. I told you Alfred's wife is going to be a hoe, just like his mama, says Santovia. Athel Red or Apple Red or whatever. We'll call him Boone's Farm Apple. And we're about to have an Athelfield, so Apple Red will marry Applefield. Good times. Alfred, I said it. Alfred is getting Athelstan. Meet me in the trap. It's going down. It's fucking. It is. It's poor guy. Oh my goodness. So it's history is repeating itself on the History Channel. Vikings. So Heahmund says, the bishop says, well, I killed that other bishop because they were trying to assassinate you. They're all trying to kill you because your weakness in your friendship with the pagans, and they want to kill you and take the crown. Judith asks the brothers what's up Judith is asking the brothers what's up, and they're talking about whether they should reinstate the bishop to bishop. His brother Apple, whatever, Athelwolf, not Athelwolf. I'm so many Athels. Athelred says, listen, he needs to be punished. And Alfred pulls, listen, I'm king, douche nozzle, and I'm the one that decides what happens. Yeah. So the bishop is with Lags in a cell, and Lags is asking what happened. And then we hear Heahmund say the real reason why he did this. He's like, yeah, I killed that guy because he found out about us. Lagatha says, everything is about the king now, and she's looking younger than ever in this scene. Really. She looked amazing in this scene. Fuck, dude. She looked like 22 years old in this scene. She looked like the hair was a style choice. She looks like she should be playing Daenerys Targaryen. That's all the white hair does. It makes her look more like Dany. Like, that's it. Boneless is going to win. Boneless always wins. I agree. I think the story of this section of Vikings is going to be Ivar always wins. The England scenes were the best part of the episode. I like the England scenes a lot. I think in the early part of this half season, Alfred would get my MVP. I think he has been incredibly interesting and squirmy and wimpy. And the fact that they're making us aware of it. I love when he puts his big boy pants on in the end of the episode and he speaks in his deep voice. He's like, listen, guys, it's time. My testicles have dropped and it's time for me to shout. Listen, these are what the pagans are going to do. And then you get the crowd, the rubble, 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 and I'm getting married. And you get the one guy that's like, yay, it's a joyous event. Yeah, yippee. And Bjorn the whole time watching the whole ordeal. Like, dude, I gotta tell someone. Too bad Ubbe fucking went all Catholic. Otherwise, I'd tell his ass what I did. The Alfred arc is the best, and his acting. It really, he's so believable in that role. He's owning every line he gets, and he's showing so many different colors of a performance. Of when he's having to show the public face in front of the people, you're seeing the person he can be with every single person he's interacting, how he's empathetic to be able to merge to be the person he wants to be around them. Such subtle changes in his voice temperature and that's what I mean by the colors of his performance. When he just can come at it through so many different voices, and there's subtle little changes, and he's not over the top, and he's subtly getting better, and you can see him. He's got Athelstan's heart while he's been trained by his grandfather and has all those tactics built in there and in all his years and all the pilgrimages he did. So he's just got such this wealth of knowledge, and being so sickly and making through it gives him an interesting perspective too. And I think the actor takes all that into account and plays the character really well and has been killing it this season. And I have not been bored or uninterested in an Alfred scene all year. Yeah, I'm trying to think if that's not true, but no, I've very much, every time I say that I want to say it, like, I very much enjoyed every one of Alfred's scenes this season. Very much. Alfred is the best. He shines. Agree, Callie. Bernie agrees with that too. Alfred flexed his kingly muscles, and Ubbe was pretty good too. Ubbe was pretty good. I said that earlier. Ubbe was pretty good, especially his eyes. He's got the most Ragnar eyes of all the brothers from casting standpoint. He can do the raggy eyeball, I call it. Well, I can't do the raggy eyeball. I don't have that color eyes. They're not wearing that contact lens. Yeah, Alfred was perfectly cast. I could not agree more. And sometimes when you do that, it's just that perfect symphony of a part, and the actor plays it well. He looks the part. He kicks ass in every scene he's in, and I look forward to his scenes in every week's episode. Yeah, he's like the father, the grandfather mix. The kid nails it. Well fucking said for everybody. I'm looking forward to seeing how they recreate the Ragnar Eckbert with Alfred and Ubbe. Ooh. The live motherfucking chat, as always, is killing it. So Alfred goes and prays to the stone of his pup and says, listen, pup Eckbert, people think I'm weak, and I fear that they're right. Give me some fucking strength. Again, this scene right here, which could have been played really as cheeseball, is cheeseball, but it's the actor's earnestness in the scene that carries it. Because as written, it's a kind of cheesy scene, and it could be played up really poorly, but I think the actor again offers this sincerity and this earnestness in the scene that carries it through. Blue Steel says Ubbe and Alfred large bath scene coming up. You heard it here first. Spoiled. So Lagatha gives the lowdown to Ubbe and Bjorn and Torvi about the Alfred situation and Heahmund in jail. And we get some back and forth, and Ubbe's got a plan. He says, listen, dudes. Like listen. Just follow me here, Bjorn. Shh. Bjorn, shh. Listen. If we're baptized... And Bjorn's like, shut the fuck up. No, Bjorn. Shh. Listen. If we're baptized, if we pretend, or, we just go through this, and we're on the king's side, he'll help him strengthen his position. And I was talking to him, or Bjorn asked, would the king come to you? He said, yeah, I was talking to him. He told me our father basically did the same thing. And Bjorn gets really defensive. He's like, what? I love Bjorn. He's been around for a long time. Something got into the actor this half a season, and he's playing the character a little differently. I'm not used to it yet, and maybe I'm completely wrong that he's not playing it differently, but it seems like he's playing it a little bit more animated, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just getting used to it. It's like being in a hot tub that's a certain temperature, and you need to get accustomed to it. And he is chewing scenery for the first time, really, that I can remember. And it's not bad. I mean, Ragnar did it too. But I think it's him trying to be more Ragnar, and as he gets older, or showing his age and his wisdom. And he's just like, what? Ubbe, you do not believe in the gods? What? He just has this little hissy fit. Where he's like, what are you saying, Ubbe? Are you a pussy? Like, Ubbe, you want to fight? I'm gonna kill you. Blah, blah. You don't believe in our gods? You die. You dick. You pussy. You fuck. We're gonna fuck. You asshole. It turns into this weird scene that I wrote. I love this, but I'm laughing. I don't know why. And again, nothing bad. I like the anime. I've definitely said Bjorn has been too Ironside at times, and I think there's a scene, if I remember correctly, where Ragnar basically shakes him and goes, you want to get nuts? Come on, get nuts. And gives him, and just totally shakes him. And maybe this is him learning, and since Ragnar died, he's supposed to have awoken the spirit within him, and then he's kind of going crazy with the information he got from Rollo and being confirmed what he had always suspected. Anyway, all that shit. But either way, it's something I've definitely noticed. No more rehashed arcs. Do you think that Ubbe's storyline in Vikings will be similar to the Uthred storyline in The Last Kingdom? Smokeahontas, The live motherfucking chat will have to answer that for you, as I've not watched The Last Kingdom yet. And I stress yet because awesome people like you, Smokahontas, and other awesome people whose opinions I really fucking trust have told me how awesome Last Kingdom is, and something I definitely need to watch. And it's on Netflix, or has been for a while, but it's now on I'm now aware that it's on Netflix, so there's no fucking excuse. So I need to watch that shit. So people in the live motherfucking chat, please answer that question for the lovely Miss Smokahontas. Bjorn is very angsty this season. Okay, so it's not just me. Bjorn's got a hair across his ass a little bit this season. No? A little bit? Yeah, Bjorn has thrown a few tantrums. Okay. It's not just me. Listen, Ubbe, you don't believe in the gods? You don't believe in the gods, Ubbe? What you doing, Ubbe? When do you think Bjorn's sleeping with the queen is going to come out? I don't know if Bjorn's going to make a scene. Maybe when she's pregnant, before Alfred seals the deal. I don't know. I wonder if it'll ever come out, because Bjorn's not one that's going to like stay. Nope, he is. Bjorn's going to say something to Alfred at some point in time. When she continuously ignores him, if she doesn't continue the relationship, Bjorn's the kind of asshole that's going to like go up to Alfred and go, Listen, Alfred, I fucked your woman. She's mine. She loves me. She'll never be passionate for you. Or something. Callie says, Last Kingdom is so awesome. Even George R. R. Martin recommends it. Bjorn is extra angsty and he isn't thinking logically. So, Ducks, I think it will come out. When do I think it comes out? I think maybe next season. I think it's not something, or perhaps when the battle lines are set up. When as soon as, I know I'm going to answer your question with a what if or something. As soon as Bjorn and Alfred have any sort of public disagreement or public interaction or private interaction for that matter, when they, at some point, he's going to go to him and you fucked over my brother. You made him you baptized him. You're not going to do it to me. Fuck you. And I fucked your wife. I don't know. Yeah, Ubbe's always chewing scenery. Hell yeah. He's got the eyes for it. I think it might be Sis and Tovia Major to Smokahontas. When do you think Bjorn... Oh, when do I think that Bjorn's sleeping with the queen? Bjorn hair across his ashy ass. I got a little slip right there. I'm having trouble talking tonight. I love the live motherfucking chat. You guys are amazing as always. Thank you so much for joining me tonight for this Vikings podcast. As I mentioned, next week I will be on either on Thursday or Friday afternoon, morning, whenever is easier for Joe to watch the episode, as Wednesday evening I am playing a music show. I hate that no women can be loyal. That's sexist. Bjorn's hair across the ass. Ubbe in Vikings equals Ubbe in Last Kingdom. Or Ubbe in Vikings equals Ubbe in Last Kingdom. I think Ubbe will straddle that line in, like that character, says Blue Steel. I really believe Bjorn is going to join Harold. I think that might be the case as well. Bjorn dismisses Rollo's claim to be his dad, and he knows him all his life. Readily accepts Magnus and doesn't know him from anyone else who can claim to be Ragnar's kid. Shake my head. Some of them, I'll get to that, but that seemed a little quick to me, the way Bjorn just accepted him. Yes, it's true. Ragnar did have a child. And he's speaking like this the whole time. Ragnar did have a child with crazy pants. You could be it. But maybe he's just going to use him and doesn't really even believe it. But who knows? But I agree. It was a little quick. I need some drinking music. So let me hopefully this won't trigger any copyrights. Oh, that was good water. Okay. So maybe that's why Bjorn is pissy with daddy issues. What do you think Bjorn's plan is with the half-brother? I think his initial plan was try to get him to get on the inside with Alfred and maybe attempt his life or something. I don't know. Can I answer that with the stupidest answer? He's definitely got some plan going on there. That's for damn sure. Literally, that's the worst answer. It's gonna be something to kind of get him on the inside. I think he's gonna try to convince him to be a double agent of some sort. I don't know if Bjorn has that duplicitous kind of thought in him, but I think that would be the best bet. Would be no, because Magnus claims that Alfred would try to kill him. So maybe what Bjorn will do, will talk to Alfred and say, "Do you know a kid named Magnus? He's outside." Blah blah blah. Because I don't think Alfred would try to kill him. I think Magnus is thinking that as much as Alfred has Egbert in him and has that training, I don't think he's as not bloodthirsty, cutthroat as he's going to be. I think he always has a sense of, or at least at this point in his life, I'm not sure where it goes, and I know some people probably know where his kingship goes and can kind of like, just wait, Phil. But in my approximation of the character he is now, he has a lot of Athelstan in him. And I think if he has any affinity for Magnus and has any memory of him, I don't think he would kill him. because of how Egbert fucked over the Crazy Pants family. He definitely is planning something. Yeah, he's definitely planning something. And I think when it's almost like, of course, you're telling me you're Ragnar's son. I'm going to use this to my advantage somehow, to my plan. It's almost like he already had the plan formulated in his mind. And when Magnus came over, he's like, oh, here's another piece. Come on over. Come to my plan. So I wonder what he's planning. I'm very curious to see how that all plans out because I don't really have a speculation. I think Vikings is doing a good job of keeping me in some sense of anticipation and wonder about how certain things are going to play out. And I like that about this series. Bjorn is just fishing for support and caught a trout named Magnus. He will snap his neck in the future and say, "You are no son of Ragnar." That could easily be the end of the situation too. Magnus could just be fodder. There's a couple people that when you meet them, you're like, "Oh, this is fodder." We're getting to know. What do you call it? I keep not wanting to remember his name on purpose. The Athelred guy, he's going to end up applesauce by the end of the season. He's dead. He's fucking dead. He is dead man walking on the Wessex line. He is one of the first dead in the initial battle when King Finehair attacks. I just think he is being set up for nothing more than a really bloody death. Do you think Ivar's queen's going to get caught by Ivar for cheating, bro? I hope so. We've talked about this a little bit earlier in the cast, Brian, but what I think a lot of us hope happen is that Ivar's playing her and just using it for what publicly people are going to think is his heir, and then just kill her because he knows what's going on. Like she thinks she's using him, but really he's using her. I hope so. Maybe Bjorn will use Magnus to claim Crazy Pants' old kingdom. Ooh. That is interesting, Icy Fury, and try to win back that area for just to kind of put another hair across Alfred's ass. I like your thinking right there. I like your thinking right there, Icy Fury. I also like Blue Steel's thinking too. This is Tux. If Alfred remembered him, then he would remember that he's not Ragnar's son. And that's the thing. As far as, and I said that earlier too, as far as Ragnar said, not the daddy, but who knows? So he peed in her. He didn't come in her. So Bjorn is like a father sitting with the other gods in Valhalla. Oh, he's like that. Father's sitting with the other gods. Ubbe, what do you think? So we go off to Freya, Ivar's bride, and she goes off with some dude and grabs him and hands him and kisses him. It's a weird scene the way it's set up, and I didn't expect what was going to happen, but I do like it, and it was a good surprise, and maybe anyone could see it coming. I was a little bit like, what's going on here? Oh, yeah, good. Well played. Well played. Cersei would be proud. Very, very, very good. Cersei could go back and kill Lancel. She would have. Spoiler alert, I guess. I'm kidding. If you watch these shows, I'm whatever. If you haven't watched it by now, you don't care. So we go back to Survivor. This week on Survivor, Floki gathers all the people of the tribe for a special tribal council. Floki says, I died and was reborn in this island, and why can't we all just get along? Guy number 1 says, I want to vote Floki off the island. Guy number 2 says, I want to vote this asshole off the island. Guy number 3 says, I don't know what to do, Phil. So, this week on Survivor, they all say skull, 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 and they drink some beer at the merged feast as they all come together for another week. Next week on Survivor, shit goes crazy. So, that's that. So we go off to Alfred Land, which is exciting, as I love. That's why I'm so happy about it. I'm calling it Alfred Land. I agree with you. Athelred will die and will kill that boy in Alfred. Yes, 100% Callie. That will be, he'll no longer be a little brother, and his balls, essentially, which is what he has him now as his bulldog, will disappear, and he'll have to become his own bulldog. My 65-year-old mother just binged Game of Thrones. She's hooked. That's so freaking cool, Bernie. If I'm trying to get my friend Jeff, who might be on the podcast at some point. He's a very interesting character that doesn't watch a lot of television or movies, but he's interested for the first time to watch Game of Thrones, and he got into it through a really weird way. Of anyone who hasn't watched it, it's the trailer on the channel, or you can find it easily by just typing in Fresh Prince of Westeros. I did a silly parody song a couple of years ago on called The Fresh Prince of Westeros, and I played him that because he was a big fan of the TV show Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and he's like, oh shit, what's this? What are you talking about? And I was like, oh, Game of Thrones. Blah, blah, blah. He goes, this sounds interesting. Wow, this sounds interesting. So I might try to get him to watch Game of Thrones and do some sort of series where we talk to him about it when he's never watched it. He's a very fun, very prototypical Bostonian kind of voice too. He's like, dude, what the fuck you talking about? Fucking die. So let's see if we can get him to watch it. Anyways, what's it gonna take to vote the toolbox off Floki's island? We're gonna need a special tribal council. Steph Snow, oh Bernie, that's cute. A new convert. Did you have to explain? Oh yeah, that is awesome. 65-year-old. You have to explain to her a lot. Got to catch up now. The FOMO is real. Floki will tell them, take the torch and shove it. Yeah, Jeff, you got to take this torch and shove it up your ass. I am not voted off any island. You can get off my island, propes. Okay, Floki. Literally 3 people will know what I'm talking about right now. Tim Gersh, great to see Tim Gersh in the live motherfucking chat. Steph Snow, this is so random, but I am so craving Red Dead. I just haven't even jumped on into it yet. I can't wait to get back in and finally finish my one-player story and stream some more of that. So if you haven't already and you want to watch more of my silly Red Dead plays, make sure you subscribe to the Twitch channel. Blah, 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 blah. Stupid shit. But also, going to be doing some Smash Brothers on there soon, too. Anyways, I just had a babble about that. Every time I see Steph Snow, I'm like, I want to stop this podcast now and go play some Red Dead. Still. So what cool things did you do today? What did I do today? I don't even want to tell you, Tim. I can't tell you. Floki's storyline is kind of boring. Okay, so Alfred Land and to meet his potential girl, and he's like, listen, I'm sorry, listen baby, I'm sorry that I didn't hang around with you. I'm gonna let you leave because you don't really want to be with me. I'm sorry, I don't even know what I was trying to do there. I was trying to do it like Mike Myers in my mother's So I Married an Axe Murderer. Underrated of Michael Myers' movies. Everyone wants to remember Austin Powers movies or the Wayne's World and stuff, which I think are both great series that I find very funny. Or look at his shitty shit in like with the Love Guru, or some of his bit parts in drama movies. But one of his lost classics that I kind of want to do a whole review on the channel now that I'm talking about it, because I feel like it's a forgotten about movie, is So I Married an Axe Murderer. Great fucking Michael Myers movie that he plays 2 characters in it, I believe. Yeah, he plays his father. I don't know if he plays another character in it too. But very funny movie. Very funny. Anyways, poor Floki, his character was outlived its usefulness. You have to play some Red Dead 2. It's amazing. Oh yeah, it is fucking amazing. I'm like almost halfway through the single player story, and I've only played a few minutes here and there of the online, but I'm not done with that game by a long shot. I got a whole big winter of snowed in days to fucking play crazy amounts of games. Okay, Sintovia says, I spent the last 2 days at work decorating the largest conference spaces on campus for a holiday party tomorrow. How about you? Oh, talking to Tim. I just killed the legendary buck. It's supposed to increase the quality of your pelts going through forward. Holy fucking shit. The Scottish father loves haggis. Oh, head. Oh, head. Go to sleep tonight on your gigantic pillow. Oh, you're like a watermelon on a Q-tip, head. No, doesn't Mike Myers play his mother too or something? Oh no, it's someone else that plays his mother. Whatever. It's a great movie. Awesome. So if you've never seen it and you like Mike Myers and you're looking for kind of like a hidden comedy classic, and you can actually see the foundation of the Dr. Evil character at one point in that movie where when he's talking to the main female lead, who is I always forget her name, but she's in a lot of shit. She was most recently in that series with Michael Douglas and Alan Arkin on Netflix. The something Chronicles, I forget what it was called. Whatever Chronicles, I forget. It was a really good series, but she plays Michael Douglas's love interest on that. She was in 3 Men and a Baby. She was also on the world famous Becker show. But anyways, okay. Now as I digress, I read another chapter of Feast of Crows. Okay, so off to Athelland. So he meets it, and she says, "I want to marry you," and I'm not predictable. Hell, I just fucked Bjorn. So then Alfred comes in with his big boy voice to say, "I am reinstating Heahmund," which is good. I don't have to call Heahmund. I can call him Bishop from now on. And we get a lot of huffle-puffle from the crowd. And then he gives a speech about how we can't go on without him. He's a tough badass, and we need him for the wars to come. Then he says, "Oh, so I'm gonna get married." And one guy in the back's like, "Yay!" And then Judith's there watching, and this is the scene that I said, "Wow, she looks so fucking young." And he announces the marriage. He says Ubbe and his wife Torvi are also going to be baptized, and more huffle and puffle. And then they celebrate this conversation, and we need them in this war as well. So Judith waits outside, and the other son, she tells the other son, "Listen, dude, now it's time to figure out who you're marrying. Phil, have you passed the incest sibling part yet? Creepy." Not yet. Did I miss that part? Whoa. Man. Whoa, man. I love you so. You let me go. I did not know. I've got a cup. You don't are a ho. I go to Santa Claus. He says ho. 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 I ate a pig. Had some bacon. It was good. Had the earth a quaking. And I'm shaking. King Finehair has arrived, and lots of cheers. They said skull and drank some beers. And then we go to Torvi and Ubbe getting baptized. Bjorn and Lagatha give evil eyes. And then Bjorn in disgust walks away. And the bishop says, "Ubbe, you're a Catholic this day." It's great. Judith is a terrible person. Thank you, Blue Steel, for sending me on that rant. Whoa, man. Whoa, man. I have to watch that movie now, Blue Steel. Judith is in my best Charles Barkley, terrible, terrible person. Oh my goodness. Okay. Thank you guys. I was having a tough day. You guys are making my day today. I really do appreciate this. So we go off to Bjorn in disgust as he goes back and forth. So we go off to Harold entering the scene at York, and some other dude comes in that seems to be in charge, and he's like, "Hey, I'm Yarn," and he goes, "Listen, Yarn, listen, dude, I'm in charge. You're not in charge much back. I should be an actor." Oh, thank you. I would love to. Get me some parts. But yes, thank you. I appreciate that. I would love to. I used to do it a lot in college on like stage shows. I did like, the 20 or so plays in my life, but I've definitely wanted to experiment with it a little bit more. You guys are my audience. I get to pretend for you guys and see all my goofiness. But thank you, Brian. Magnus is the ancestor of the great Magnus robot fighter, or Magnus Magneto. Santovio, we sure paid. Oh, well, sure, the pay sucks, but I'm a single guy with no kids or anything. Yes, I can't stand her smug face talking about Judith. Whoa, man. Sorry. So we go to Ubbe and Torvi are having a funny conversation about eternal life and stupid crosses and shit. Do you feel different? I don't feel different. Do you feel different? I don't feel different. Oh, fuck. You can't see him? He's back there. Oh, sorry, Tim. Listen, Tim. This is for you, man. Sorry. I'm moving. I'm going back there. Let's see. There we go. There we go. I brought the Klingon back into the house. Hopefully you can see him, even in the distance. Holy shit. We got the bloody fucking talker in the live motherfucking chat. I love you, bloody talker. You are the best, buddy. So good at Ubbe and Torvi are having a conversation about eternal life. And they're both they're like, hey, you feel different? I don't feel different. Do you feel different? I don't feel different. And Ubbe is bugging out his eyes. And going, Urgh. He takes off a bracelet. And he goes, now I don't feel different. And he puts it on his ankle. It's funny. Good stuff. So then we get a highlight. Then, like a highlight reel, we go right to Alfred's wedding, and the parents couldn't be more happy, or his mom and the brother couldn't be more happy. The bishop's loving all the action, being back in the game. Bjorn is in the back, being like, I had her, and trying for eye contact, but some kid in the back is fucking Bjorn. The madman Martz in the live motherfucking chat, and yes, Iron Throne, the Klingon is back. Klingon would be very upset at me if he doesn't get representation. Now he's right on my shoulder in the distance. Phil, which issues guy? Just a shout out, brother. You got me smiling. Vala Mogulis. Vala Daharis, my buddy. Great to see you. Cannot wait to get back to some Game of Thrones stuff very soon. Joe and I will possibly be doing a Game of Thrones podcast on Sunday evening. So if anyone is a fan of that kind of shit, make sure you tune in 10:30 Eastern Standard Time on Sunday for Joe and I's Season 8 preview catch-up character cast. Who was hanging up? Excuse me. Who was hanging upside down at the end in the fire? I wonder. I mean, I'd have to. You mean who is going to be the sacrifice? I think it's going to be a fake Lagatha. My buddy just got back from Oregon with some of the dankest bubbly dabs. I'm having a great time. I wish you were here, Phil. I wish I was there too, bloody talker, passing it back and forth. The problem with Vikings is there's no likable characters. Alpha Red, Apple Red, and are the only ones. Game of Thrones has tons of likable characters. Phil, I'm dead. Bjorn thinking, I had her. That is what he's thinking. He's giving that whole look. Meh. Thank you, Matthew. You are the fucking best, dude. I appreciate that. So let's continue. The kid now looks more like me. I need to talk to you. Oh, okay. So Bjorn comes and goes and talks to him. He's like, listen, we need to talk. I have much in common. We get the same dada. And my name is Magnus. I'm the son of Crazy Pants. He tells the story about how Alfred's family threw him out, saying, I'm the only surviving member of a dying family, and I need your help. And Bjorn's like, listen, I heard my dad had a father. My father, sired a child from England. It is like, I knew it all along, and let's join together, brother. So then the new queen's brought in to Alfred, and it's a bedding ceremony. We get some sexy prayers. They're playing songs in the background. Somehow this song it starts playing in the background. And they get in the bed, and it's so fucking awkward, dude. They just like lay there. It's like, hey, could you guys leave, please? But anyways, so they go off to York, and Fine here says, listen, I'm going to attack Wessex. They're weaker. I was there. I know, that they haven't had time to fully build their defenses, and I was there. I know all the weak points. And then Yarn is like, listen, dude. Also, there's a little kid at the kingship there. He's a little turd of a dude. He's not at all great in any way possible, and we could totally fuck him up. And in no way is he going to withstand all of our attacks for all of time. No. But so he goes, yeah, it's gonna be great. Let's attack this dude. And the dude tells him, and he's like, great. He's weaker than ever. And Yarn's like, listen, why are you fucking with me? I thought you and Ivar were buddies, and Ivar put me in charge. Why are you coming here saying I am in charge and throwing your dick and slapping your dick in Ivar's face? What's up, buddy? What you doing? And Finehair turns it around and goes, listen, do you want to be leader of this shithole and ultimately go back and lick Ivar's asshole? Is that what you want to do? Or do you want to be my number one? Listen, I killed my brother, so I need a new number one. And you totally look like you'd be a great number one for me. So what do you think about it, Riker? And Riker says, I can either captain the Titan or I can do this. Oh, ahead. You going to sleep? If not, I'm going to have to go to sleep tonight on my gigantic pillow. And he says, listen, you're not Ragnar's son, and people want a Ragnar's son to be a leader. They're the kings of all. Their name recognition alone. It's like that movie, The Distinguished Gentleman. They're gonna win the election. It's all just a Ragnar kid. It doesn't matter. And then he goes, well, let's, because he also asks them to, after they attack Wessex, to take over Kattegat. And this guy kind of just talks around the issue and, well, we're all kids of Ragnar. And Finehair's like, he listens to what he has to say. And dude says, we're all kids of Ragnar. You better not speak ill of him, because Finehair's basically like, I don't even remember this Ragnar guy. Who the fuck you talking? Rag my ass. Fuck that guy. That guy's a turd. That guy, what's he been doing? Come on. He was on opium or some shit for half a season. And he came back screaming, and no one liked him. Fuck that Ragnar guy. I remember the end of Ragnar. It wasn't pretty. So, and this guy's like, no, we're all Ragnar's kids. And I love Finehair's reaction. He goes, yeah, whatever. Now, why don't you just tell me later, okay? Think about it. So then we go to the Lags and the Bishop having a meeting, and the Bishop needs to clean up the mess, and that's what he's doing next. Bishop's like, not sure if the brother's in on all of this and in on this conspiracy against the king, but I'll find out. Which leads me to believe that maybe the Bishop's gonna kill this kid, thinking because this guy's gonna talk shit to the Bishop about how he's a embarrassment of a holy man because he killed another priest or another bishop in a holy place. And then this guy's go, you're working for it, and you want to overthrow your brother, and he kills him. So the Bishop's like, no, I don't know, but I'll figure it out. And she says, I want to help, but my character's so useless now, and they can't think of anything to do with me except for put me in this weird wig. And he goes, listen. It's probably the funniest line in the whole episode. Listen, Lagatha. Sorry, I heard weird sound in the other room. I'm not used to the sounds in this house yet. I'm like, what the fuck's that sound in there? Is it the ghost of King Finehair in there? It's like pissed off about me talking shit here. Wait, sorry. I'm not going to talk about you, Lagatha. If I disappear on this stream, remember me well. Sing my praises. When I disappear, I have to retire the show early because of life getting in the way after Game of Thrones. Like, make sure you always speak of me well, people. So, so the Bishop's like, I don't know. And he goes, listen, the forces of Satan are working together against me. He sounds like one of those like faith healer people, like Steve Martin, Leap of Faith, or whatever it's called. Whatever they're called, evangelical people or something. My brothers and sisters, oh yeah, macho madness is gonna rule the world. And Satan, that's right, Satan is coming to get me. Wow. It's great. Phil, the best guy, out. Good night, Valado Harris. The Viper is swimming down into his sand. Oh, fuck yeah. Great to see you, buddy, and I will talk to you soon. And preach, Bernie. What does Bernie say? I missed Bernie. Oh no, I'm jumping in random conversations. Blue Steel says Bishop confronts Apple Red. Apple Red says, I swear I don't know anything. And the Bishop says, listen, in the best Bishop Batman voice.
Listen, swear to me. Why did you say Martha?
That's what he says. So a new hand of the king. And thank you for answering my question. No, thank you. Just finished Red Dead 2 some time ago. Madman Martz, love you, buddy. You're the best. Oh, God. I want to go full Woody Woodpecker now. You were censored? What the fuck? There's no censoring in my chat room. Fucking A. No. No. There will be no censoring in this chat room. Unless, What'd you say, Bertie? Wait, Centovio's Major's uncle is Macho Man Randy Savage? Wait. I can't wait, but my kids and their pro wrestling uncle want to talk to you ASAP. Oh, yeah? Did you know Miss Elizabeth? Oh, yeah. Macho Man. Bernie, there is no censoring in this house for Bertie. Not anymore. Oh, my goodness. God, I love you guys in the live motherfucking chat. Was it the top? If you got censored, it's the top chat live chat bullshit. So make sure, little note to everybody. Tim, you want to fuck? You got to be a millionaire. I want to be a millionaire so fucking bad. It's because for whatever reason, on the main screen, on my screen, the one you see below me, it won't let me post the live chat the way I link it in there. It only lets me post the one that's called Top Chat, which out of all the stupid additions that YouTube has ever added, the Top Chat live chat. Well, I mean, there's some people that maybe don't want to see the bad words because it makes them feel uncomfortable. But I wish there was an option that's just shut off Top Chat and just have it be live chat altogether. But yes, you were censored on the screen on the air, but not in the chat I'm reading right now, and not in our hearts, Bernie. In our hearts, you'll never be censored. Yes, Game of Thrones this Sunday, Steph. Joe and I will be doing some sort of Game of Thrones podcast. Pretty sure we're going to be doing our character catch-up edition where we take something that we were going to do over the course of a long period of time and do it all in one podcast. Just so we can start getting going and from then on try to do, especially while we have Sundays, every other Sunday with Joe, do a different Game of Thrones thing until there is a show to talk about on Sundays. The Bishop looks like and then we'll switch that to a different day of the week. So Joe and I's road to Westeros is going to be starting. It's time to get the fuck back in it. And I'm also going to be on a very special. A couple people reached out to me this week about being on some Game of Thrones casts. Both people I'm very excited. One I'm recording it tomorrow, and the other person will be contacting me probably again pretty soon to set that up. So I am very excited for a couple of guest appearances on some Game of Thrones stuff with some people coming up soon as well. So it's gonna be fun to get full on into that, and I can smell the trailer coming soon as well, and some some images and all that fun preview stuff as we go. So see everyone on Sunday about 10:30 Eastern Standard Time for anyone that maybe pops out at any point in time. So join us if Game of Thrones is your thing, okay? And you want to see Joe and I babble about it. Okay, so we go to the Bishop and blah, 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 blah. So we come back in with some Viking sports, and Ivar's there, and he's flirty with his girl, and Hitzak's still pouting. Freya comes over and says, "Come over here." And he goes over to Ivar, and we get this wonderful scene between the two of them. Great news, brother. Great news. Sit down. Great news. Ivar's like, you know how our whole family is descended from Odin? Now, you and my brothers used to make fun of me all the time. And he's like, listen, I never made fun of you. He's like, well, you pitied me. And I always wondered why God hated me. And finally, my wife explained to me that I'm deformed because it's a sign of the God's favor. And it's not a shame or curse, but it's a blessing. And it's even more than that. I am a god. I am a golden god. And it's because she says so, and I made her pregnant, and yada, yada, yada. And Hitzak says, you're fucking crazy. He goes, listen, be careful the way you talk to me, brother. I'm special, and we're celebrating it with a feast. We're going to have a big, big feast just for me. And everyone in Kattegat's going to come by and we're going to do a sacrifice, but we need someone that everyone's heard of, a really good person, someone that the people know. And Hitzok says, what do you think? What are you saying, Ivar? Huh? Meaning, are you talking about me? Be careful what you say next. And they kind of both have this back and forth. And then Ivar smiles at him like the Cheshire cat smile. And he's like, and it's just this look, and that's just huge red herrings. There is a zero. If it didn't happen in this episode, and Lady said it earlier too, and I agree, they're not going to have Ivar kill another brother. Maybe eventually try or something, but I don't think it's going to be that simple. And I don't think they're going to want to get rid of another one of Ragnar's sons quite yet on the show. I do think that they have something in mind with Hitzok in the future to where to go with his character. At least I'm hoping so, because up until now he's been the dud of the group. But I enjoyed him in this episode, and that's not to say I very much liked him in this episode. But I think it was huge. Communism is just a red herring. Clue, another great movie. If you haven't seen it, watch it. There's actually a live commentary cast of Joe and I watching Clue somewhere on the channel. I think the audio's all fucked up in it, but it does exist. So I think if it was going to happen with him, he would have died in this episode. The fact that they, as Steph Snow pointed out, I think it was Steph. I want to give full credit. It might have been Bernie as well. I think it was Bernie, actually. That they basically gave us a preview for last week, for next week. They gave us a preview for a preview. Ivar is a god who wears kiss makeup. I swear people are going to be so mad next episode. Uh-oh. Holy shit. I believe it when I see it. Phil and Joe, do it. The Game of Thrones cast, you'll believe it when you see it, when we finally actually do it. No, it's coming. It's coming. Ivar is a god who wears kiss makeup. Hey. He wants to rock and roll all night and party every day. I was wondering if that would be the right one, or I only really know two Kiss songs, and the Bill and Ted one. God gave rock and roll. Callie says that's hilarious. It did look a little bit like Kiss cosplay. It did. So, well, we think. What do you think? And then we're back with the Arnold looking dude with King Harold. I said it looks. I wish you guys could read my notes right now. I actually could do screen share, but whatever. It's the way I wrote Harold is I wrote it like AHROLD. So I read it as Arnold with the Arnold looking dude. But it's really, and then we're back with Harold looking at the dude like, did you make the decision yet? He goes, yes, I will raid Wessex with you. I recognize you as King of York, and I'm no longer with Ivar. Oh, so that means you're coming with me? Yep, give me your hand. I'm going to kiss it. And then he tongues his finger knuckle and stuff. It's really great. It's fucking hot shit. And then they go off, and they're besties from now until the end of time. So we're back where? Oh, Iceland. Oh, yeah.
Back on Survivor. Now, you'll never guess who stole the rice. That's right. Dickhead number 1 lost another daughter and blames dickhead number 2. Ooh, this is all going to play out crazy at tonight's tribal council. Next time on Floki Island. Survivor, Floki Island.
Oh, Zeppelin is my... I often say that in my mind, and there's... that Pink Floyd is my favorite rock band, is my favorite band, but Zeppelin is the best band. I would also accept people that best rock band or classic rock band. You know, I'm not going to get into a stylistic through the decade decisions of what type of music is people's favorite type of music. But for those like classic rock bands and rock and roll music as it's defined, I would say Zeppelin is the best for me. But Pink Floyd is my favorite band. By a long ways, I think. It's just they mean the most to me in the ways that the lyrics mean to me, in the way that I emotionally feel when I listen to the songs. But I wouldn't try to say that they were the best band of all time. I think people get involved in that, and with television shows too, or with everything. They think that the things that they're into is the best. I try to make two separate discussions. What's the best and what's my favorite shit? And sometimes it's different. Like Zeppelin would probably be in my top 5 favorite bands of all time, but I consider them the best. I would accept other arguments from other rock bands that would that people would say possibly Stones, AC/DC, The Who as another band I would accept as that answer for people depending on your circle. But for me, it's Led Zeppelin. Jimmy fucking Page. No, Phil. They are not the Beatles till they get matching tattoos. Next episode tune in to find who's behind the curtain. Zeppelin stole music, Floyd for the win, says Birdie. And let's continue. And okay, so we go off to Bjorn and Magnus, and he says, why not tell Alfred who you are? And his dad and family would betray me, and his family... If I gave you a harder question, who's the best American rock band? The best American rock band, okay, a lot of people might go to The Doors and say something like The Doors. I think The Doors were a very good band, but I don't think I would consider them the best American rock band. I would consider that because of the lack of a bass player, even though they did have a bass player in some of the album material, and so, famously in a song like L.A. Woman. I think historically the Doors were missing a certain rhythm section aspect of a bassist in that kind of music in that era. I think Jimi Hendrix Experience is a cheat answer. Or if I said Jimi Hendrix, because Jimi Hendrix got his fame initially in Britain, and the other two members of Jimmy's band were both British. So Jimi Hendrix is a good pick in that situation. When you get to American rock bands, you can't help but look at the 90s bands and look at that whole era where you look at a band like Pearl Jam, or you look at a band, for me, like the Black Crowes would be in that conversation as well. There's so many great ones you could pick. But, yes, I'm from fucking Boston. So it would be hard for me not to pick a band I've seen hundreds of times live. And it's also easy to forget about how amazing this band was in their prime because of how cheesy they got later on and how much of a caricature of himself the lead singer of this band became at times. That being said, for me, the best American rock band is 70s, 80s Aerosmith. I think Aerosmith encompasses rock and roll in that same way AC/DC does. Also, if you see Aerosmith live, they jam the fuck out of their songs in a way like Zeppelin does. And they're in that sense of the way Zeppelin does, like where a song that's a 3-minute song on the radio, a song like, say, like Crying or something, or even a song like Shut Up and Dance has a 45-minute drum solo in the middle of it. So I would say, even though I have incredible respect and love and attention for a lot of those Seattle bands like Soundgarden, Nirvana, Rage Against the Machine, Blind Melon, I'm just throwing a bunch. Red Hot Chili Peppers would be another band that could be very much put in that conversation, even though they're a funk band. But I consider it all, in a sense, rock music. I would have to go with Aerosmith just because Toys in the Attic, all that early stuff. You want to see some awesome Aerosmith? Watch the live concert footage of an album it's a video, I was going to say an album, called Texas Flood, Aerosmith Texas Flood. 70s Aerosmith and 80s Aerosmith was fucking amazing and a true rock band. They got cheesy later on, and I still think they were rocked in the 90s too. But 2000s Aerosmith and what Steven Tyler did post American Idol and all that sort of shit. It's kind of tough to look at them in the same eye, but I would say Aerosmith. Guns N' Roses, great fucking pick too. Guns N' Roses, The Doors sucks, says Bernie. I like some Doors songs, but I'm not a big fucking fan. Grand Funk Railroad, Velvet Underground, Talking Head, Parliament Funkadelic, all excellent picks. P-Funk is amazing. P-Funk in their prime would put on 3-4 hour shows. Americans, you could also go to individual artists. Someone like James Brown, for instance, would be, I know he's soul music, but still one of the greatest performances. Where do you put Prince and something like that to a single performers? But as bands, what I've seen Aerosmith do live, they would definitely be at the top of the list. I do think The Doors suck. as a performance band, but I think I look at them more as an act rather than a band in some ways. The band, the Grateful Dead, Guns N' Roses, great. Guns N' Roses for an album and a half because I consider at least half of Use Your Illusion really good, and Lives is really good too. I think Guns N' Roses has one of the greatest guitar players of all time when Slash, and Izzy Stradlin is also very good too. I think their band, it's an excellent band, and Axl has one of the best rock and roll voices. I think they're a forgotten about band too, partially because of Chinese Democracy, but in how long it took for that album to come out, and in the way the band fell apart, where he kicked out all the members and he just retained Aerosmith, even though he brought everyone back. Not Aerosmith, Guns N' Roses, and then brought everyone back at times. Funny enough, if anyone hasn't ever watched it, make sure you check out the AC/DC Singing with Axl Rose Singing for AC/DC tour. Some interesting stuff. Okay, blah, 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 blah. I think the Brits beat the crap out of us in best rock bands. Yes, it's not even close, Bernie. It's not even close. There are a lot of really good American rock bands. 90s American rock was really good. I don't want to discredit the whole grunge scene, which basically was rock music with some distortion on. Like, let's cut the shit. Pearl Jam's a rock band. Fucking, like, shut the fuck up. Soundgarden was a rock band. Fucking Alice in Chains is a rock band with lead guitars and shit like that. You know, those bands are fucking rock bands. But like Stone, Zeppelin, Who, Pink Floyd, the Beatles. Like, people, I know some people like the Beatles or whatever. Like, I'm going to do a Beatles podcast. If you can't tell, I'm always dying to talk about music, so sorry for this music aside on a Vikings podcast, but yes, the Brits kill us in rock bands. It's not even fucking close. It's not even fucking close. It's like the dream team basketball team with the Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Jordan Barkley team when against the rest of the world in some ways. If you lined up all the amazing British rock bands and put them on a stage, because I'd give them Hendrix, and then you give them Jeff Beck too, and the Jeff Beck group, and you give them there's so many more that you could just add up there too. But yeah, I know Hendrix is American, born in Seattle, but you know. No, that's fine. That is fine. I am more than happy to go in rants like that, but I apologize to anyone that's like, get back to the episode, asshole. You're almost done. I have to pick bands by decades and genre. Santovia, I would have to do that too if I'm being really fair. The only thing I can say is favorite bands and who I think are some of the best bands. You know, like if I was making my favorite bands list, like just a quick off the top of my head would be, and there's certain eras as well, because like early Chili Peppers, everything before everything Blood Sugar Sex Magic and before with the Chili Peppers. I fucking love the Chili Peppers. Some of their later shit is crap, and I can't really get into it. Lady never really understood the Grateful Dead thing. I'm not a big Dead fan either. I am a fan of jam rock. Huey Lewis in the Nudes. I love the Nudes. It's my favorite thing, Ian. I was never a huge Dead fan. I'm a bigger fan of some other more jam bands like Max Creek, Deep in a Blackout, String Cheese Incident, and Fish. But I mean, I respect the Dead's fandom and what they did, but you know, I like the Pigpen era when they were a little bit more blues rock and a little less folky. I think they were at their best when they had that keyboard or piano player, Pigpen, I think Pen, or whatever his name was. I think that era of the Dead was the best era of the Dead. Anyway, sorry about that. Agreed on the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Blood Sugar Sex Magic and everything before that. I think Californication has some decent songs on it. And I think all the albums moving forward have decent songs on it because they're just a good band. But everything before that, like Uplift, Mofo Party Plan, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Freaky Styley, Mother's Milk. Mother's Milk is so fucking amazing. All those early albums of Chili Peppers are amazing, and they were on trajectory to be one of the best American rock bands. I'm a huge fan of Jane's Addiction as well, which is a band that gets forgotten about over time, but especially Ritual, De Habitual, and Nothing Shocking and Triple X. Those three albums are some of my favorite albums ever. Okay, enough of this shit. Back to Vikings. Okay, Bjorn and Magnus say, what are we going to do? We tell Alfred who you are, and his dad's family would betray me. And he says, no, he would kill me right away. This family can't be trusted. So we go off to the end of the episode. I love how I stopped this literally right before the last two scenes. I could have waited to go in this rant, and I'm like, zip through this so I can get back to talking about music. Then we go off to Ivar and his bride in full makeup and smiles, and time for a sacrifice. We go over to people screaming, afraid, and soldiers marching in. Some crazy perspective shots. Very trippy. This is filmed extremely well. Love this. I love when Vikings does this shit. I wish they would do it more often, but maybe they'd get too used to it. When they do this stuff, it's really cool. And it's to the point where even Joe, who hates this stuff, likes when Vikings does this stuff. And I swear I saw Gilly in there as one of the actresses. I'd have to watch it. And then we get more drums in the deep, 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 and more trippy lenses. And Ivar comes in on horseback with a bride in tow and slow motion trails and shit. Well done. Snaps back out into him kissing her on the hand, and sets out there, raises his hand to stop the music, and smiles and bring on the sacrifice. And he goes, "What?" And we see the seer waking up as the sacrifice is brought out, hooded and struggling. And Ivar looks cool. Looks like he's in his kiss makeup and smiles. It's not revealed. What? Is this fucking Walking Dead? Is this Negan? Anyway, who else would it be? And then I said, did the preview spoil the reveal by saying it's fake Lagatha? Or does he somehow get Lagatha? No. I don't know. And so that's the end of our episode of Vikings. And on that note, let me play a quick song so I can take a drink. So that's this episode of Vikings. Next week's episode, again, just to remind you guys, I will not be on live after the episode next Wednesday night. I'll be on probably on Thursday afternoon, or morning, depending on when I get a chance to watch the episode and Joe is available, because I definitely want to get Joe on an episode of Vikings. It's been far too long since we've heard Joe's take on this season. He might be completely hating this, and we got Joe rants to hear. I mean, come on. Also, this Sunday evening, Joe says he'll be available, but it's been a crazy time for both of us, if we're being honest. So we're figuring it out, and Joe and I will be getting back finally to talking about some Game of Thrones together, and we'll be doing our character catch-up episode and breaking off the rust. Honestly, the people listening and all you guys that are checking out the chat will probably know more about Game of Thrones and what's happening this season and what the hell we're going to be talking about than we are. So we're going to be rediscovering our Game of Thrones roots. And I'm kidding, of course. I haven't stopped reading or watching or talking about this shit. It's just I'm not talking about it on the show. I'm talking about it to my friends. But we'll be talking about some Game of Thrones and going through the remaining characters on our character list and talking briefly about their stories, a couple sentences, and where we think they're going to go next season, and then taking some of your Q&A questions about Game of Thrones. We'll talk about that teaser trailer that was on as well, and if Joe hasn't watched it yet, maybe we'll watch it on air and do all of that. So that's coming this Sunday evening, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. Definitely check that out. And then next week, probably Thursday or Friday the latest, Joe and I will be on to do a Vikings recap. So yeah, time for as we get into almost a guitar solo time. I'm trying to talk till the guitar solo kicks in. Here comes the guitar solo, and I'm going to take a drink. I'll be right back. And we're back. Sorry about that. I had to take a little technical difficulties break there. So let's get into talking about some more amazing rock bands. Quickly, thank you, lady. No one was liking them back in the day. This scene makeup reminded me of Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls. I expect Guano Dance and Tommy Davidson to jump out of a backpack and start biting. Where the fuck's the seer been? I don't know. Either they can't think of anything interesting to do with him, or they're just they don't want to pay the actor, or I don't know. Like, I think ultimately they probably just can't think of anything interesting to do with him. Nothing Shocking is an amazing album. Ritual's a great album too. 3 Days. Some of my favorite songs are Jane's Addiction songs, and seeing them live a couple of times, they really amazingly put on a great show. I saw them one of those tours with Flea playing bass. A really underrated band that came from that called Deconstruction too, with Dave Navarro and Eric Avery, that came out of Jane's. Anyways, Jane's Addiction is an underrated band. A really fucked up video that you can watch is a music video movie called The Gift, which is Perry Farrell's girlfriend dies and some shit happens. It's not a spoiler. It's a fucking music video. Who gives a fuck? But it's really cool. And Jane's Addiction, I think, is one of those bands that is a merging band that merged as well as Guns N' Roses. I think Guns N' Roses and Jane's Addiction have a lot in common. And what I mean by that is, if you look at music, it's very circular. At least it was up until a certain age, and I still think it is. I still think things come around in circles and come in ages. Rock bands will be in again and everything. But I think the age we live in now is cool because there's no style of music that's uninteresting, because you can just get so much of it at all times, and it's like at all times any kind of song can break through and bust through the mainstream. I really do believe that. And people say, well, music's bad, music's good. I think it's a interesting situation where the music industry is all fucked up, and you see a lot of individual artists putting out music independently, and you can find it and see it. And it's tougher to make money, but it's easier to find good music if you just look. That being said, there's nothing like, the era of amazing bands and amazing shit like that. So I just wanted to say that I'm not someone that's like, music now sucks. I'm just saying, you go through certain eras and there's certain styles that are prevalent, and I think it's less noticeable now. I think you could start out where you get like 70s rock bands, where 70s rock bands kind of merge somewhere along the line. I think Zeppelin is a good prototype of like where you saw Zeppelin and The Who, which were legitimately ballsy rock and roll bands with ripping guitar players, Peter Townsend and Jimmy Page, and you also had the Jeff Beck band with Rod Stewart and Jeff Beck. And you had this certain look and style. And then you got hair bands eventually in the 80s, which led into it. And hair bands were going, and I'm mainly just talking about rock music here. And hair bands were very cheesy, and they took what 70s rock was, and they made it just cheesier, a little less complex in the music. Especially if you look, not that I hate all the hair bands. There's definitely some hair bands I really like. Everyone has one that they hold on to, Motley Crue or whatever, or Warrant or Twisted Sister or whatever. All those bands. And there was some other mergy kind of stuff, like Alice Cooper was kind of on the level of both and had some balls and also had some hair bandness to him, and he was kind of a transitional force in all of that. But and my personal favorite hair band is Tesla. If I have to pick, they had this album called 5-Man Acoustical Jam where they did the song Signs. And they also did the Beatles song We Can Work It Out, which I thought was really awesome at the time. And I still think it's awesome if you listen to it. And I think the guy from Tesla has this really haunting, good, beautiful voice. But whatever. That's my hair band. Then I think from the hair bands, you birthed like this LA rock scene that had some elements of hair bands with the ripping guitar players and the high vocal singers, but it had a little bit more raw balls to it. Bands like the LA Guns and bands like Jane's Addiction eventually popping up in there too, which LA Guns eventually turning into Guns N' Roses, which broke through the mainstream and were a hair band to a certain extent, but had a little dirt to it, had a little balls to it, had a little reality of like a real fucking band. My favorite moment of the MTV Awards as a kid was when Slash went up there to accept the awards, like, yeah, well, we're fucking so, oh, excuse my fucking language, fuck. But anyways, they had some like edge to them, and then the Janes kind of transitioned that edge that Guns N' Roses had and merged it with this, in thread of a better word, grungy sound that influenced a lot of those 90s grunge bands. Bands like Nirvana were influenced by bands like Jane's and influenced bands by the Meat Puppets and all these other bands that were sort of coming from the underground scene around that time. And Jane's was influential starting the Lollapalooza thing, and then that band broke up because, heroin's a hell of a drug. But I think Jane's Addiction is like the godfathers of that grunge era. And they were the band that took what 80s rock was and was able to convert that and influence a whole other generation in some ways. Blubbity blah blah. That's my Jane's Addiction sucking my stuff. Anyways, let's go in the live chat. Phil, have I seen Last Man Standing? No, I have not. I used to watch Home Improvement a lot, though. Where's the sea? Yeah, where is the sea been? Boston, more than the feeling. My old band, Frightening Dick Theater, actually played a show with the bass player from Boston's new band. This guy, Fran Sheehan. He had to announce our name. He was so uncomfortable doing it. He was like, now playing Frightening Dick Theater. I haven't been keeping up with Game of Thrones because I don't want to be spoiled for me. There will be no leaks and spoilers on Joe and I's cast. That's part of the reason why we haven't talked about Game of Thrones. It's hard. It's tough when you don't have preview stuff for the season without the spoiler stuff to talk about it. And again, I'm not bad-mouthing anyone that does talk about that stuff. I just, for this final season, I want to be as naked going in as possible. Naked and clueless. Naked and afraid. I don't want to know anything. I already know one thing, and that's too much already. One thing got spoiled for me already, and I'm already done. I'm already like, that's it. I don't want to know anymore. Even if someone sent me something, I'd be like, not reading it. And I'd forget it. Tara has outlived Rick. Just let her die. Rage Against the Machine, Deftones, Tool. Tool is incredible. Enema is one of the best albums. I also like Perfect Circle. Was that the his secondary band, Maynard's secondary band? I saw Tool live a couple of times. Excellent show. They put on a great show. Lady says, I cannot stand the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Do you like any of the early stuff? Wester Rosie, Twisted Sister. Wow, very cool. I don't know if you've ever heard their more of their earlier stuff rather than their newer, more melodic emo-y kind of shit. Because they basically turned from the punk funk band that they used to be to just a fucking horseshit band. Okay. Here's another weird one for to put in the list for greatest American bands. And I know they're a hip hop act, but they're also a band too. And they're everything. They're just a musical act. But I would put the Beastie Boys in there as one of the best all-time American music acts. Simply because of the albums like Check Your Head, where they play all the instruments, and their later albums where they start being a little bit more musical in their very early stuff. And I would put them up there as one of the godfathers of hip hop too. But that's beside the point. But I would definitely put them in there as one of the greatest American acts ever to be out there. And I think obviously there's individual fandoms, and people that are way into the Beastie Boys are way into the Beastie Boys, and there's some people that are just like, I don't get it. But I think they are three incredibly talented guys and create a really excellent musical scene, especially in those later albums. Where they, and I think those early albums are fucking amazing too. Paul's Boutique is probably one of the greatest albums of all time. It goes right up there in hip hop albums like The Chronic and other albums I would put in that list of that. It's a different list altogether. But I think the Beastie Boys are one of those mergy kind of acts. Wu-Tang. Yeah, Wu-Tang would be up there in my favorite rap acts as well. I've seen Wu-Tang live about like 5 or 6 times too. And I've seen some of the individual members. Actually, I went to go see Wu-Tang once at the Worcester Palladium, and the sound man screwed up, and there was no audio. Like, they couldn't get the backing tracks to play. There was, like, a sync issue, and it was all fucked up. They were like, if anyone's recording people or music people will get what I'm saying, but some people are like, what are you fucking talking about? They were not doing, it was like the transitional time where there wasn't a live DJ. They were using a pre-recorded DAT player. And they had no turntables on the scene. It was just this guy, this sound man from the Palladium trying to play the pre-recorded Wu-Tang tracks on a DAT player. And he could not get it to work. And so basically, it wasn't the whole Wu-Tang camp. It was like Capadonna, Raekwon, Ghostface, and a couple other ones. And I think Hugh God was there, and maybe Inspector Deck. And instead of doing like a full performance, they just all freestyled all night and took turns freestyling with no music. It was really a fucking great time. It was really, and they were joking the whole time about how the sound man's about to get his ass kicked. And at the end of the night, we're like, actually, we got to thank the sound man for putting on a great show. But Deftones, amazing. Beastie Boys are nothing compared to Wu-Tang. Different sort of act, completely different act. One-hit wonders, Luscious Jackson. One-hit wonders. What's some of your guys' favorite one-hit wonders? I think Lion King Harold about betraying Ivar. Maybe I I think that as well, just to go to Vikings again for a second here. I do think that, I thought that for a second too, Brian, that Yarn was possibly just telling Fine Hair what he wants to say, and he's really going to warn Ivar about what's going on. The Beastie Boys also produced / played in Luscious Jackson. That's a girl group. You've ever heard of them? I have heard the name. The Rolling Stones, Eric Clapton, Stevie Ray Vaughan, another amazing, Bob Marley, Run DMC, the Beastie Boys, P-Funk, Def Leppard, Journey, Sam Cooke, Otis Redding, Feel as high as fuck. Actually, you want to hear something funny? I've probably in the last 4 days ate less sandwiches than I have in years. So I am extra goofy. I am extra silly off when I don't eat sandwiches. That's how ingrained into sandwich meat I am. I like big butts, and I cannot lie, is also a great one-hit wonder. They had 3 albums that were really good. Hashtag Luscious Jackson. If you haven't already, definitely check out Luscious Jackson. Black Betty by Ram Jam. I See Fury. That is an excellent pick because Black Betty, which is why my black cat named Betty, that's one of those songs that when I heard that for the first time, it was when I was first introduced to like rock music in general, bands like Zeppelin and all those fucking bands, Deep Purple, shit like that. And I was really into it, like really into that song. I used to dance around like crazy, go like a madman and like a madman Martz, and run around like crazy. And that album, and then I was just like, oh, do they have other songs? They have other songs? And come to find out it's just like a one-hit wonder. I like Bop. Don't Worry, Be Happy. Great. Whoa, Black Betty. Bam, da, bam. Whoa, Black Betty. Bam, da, bam. We got that show. Bam, da, bam. Gotta get boom, boom. Bam, da, bam. Whoa, Black Betty. Bam, da, bam. Whoa, Black Betty. Bam, bam. One-hit wonders. Terrence Trent D'Arby, Wishing You Well. Black Betty, why do you have to break my heart? There's a lot. Bop. Bop. Sorry, that's what I'm saying. Actually, Terrence Trent D'Arby had a few hits. Dance Little Sister, You Let Me Stay, Delicate. Sir Mix-a-Lot is not a #1 hit. He also had the Apache, or is not a one-hit wonder. He also had Apache Jump on It, That's You. You Hear Everything Every Wedding. Lead Belly is considered the author. It's interesting to think about that, the one-hit wonder. The Oneaters are my favorite one-hit wonder. That's my favorite one. Jimmy, why don't you go to your room and write that new hit song, Alone with Your Principles? It's interesting to think about one-hit wonders because some people that you might consider a one-hit wonder had like 1 or 2 songs. And you look back, you're like, actually, they kind of had a couple songs that broke through. And here's a little song I wrote. Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to learn it note by note. Don't worry. I'll be happy. In every life we have some trouble. And if you worry, you make it double. Don't worry. I'll be happy. Bobby McFerrin is a talented fuck. And he's just one of those guys that is just has sick skills in what he does. And if you listen to some of his albums, he's doing like all these crazy acapella shit that is really amazing. But speaking of that, I'm gonna try to find something, and I don't care. I'm not. If this ends up making this video Winslow. Okay, if this makes this video copyrights this video, I'm sorry. I'm sorry 1,000 times over. I don't know if any of you guys ever saw Police Academy and know who Michael Winslow is, but Michael Winslow is the guy who made all the sounds on Police Academy. He is an incredibly talented fuck. He does this Jimi Hendrix impression that many people have said, but he also does a Zeppelin thing, and this is him doing Zeppelin with this dude playing acoustic guitar. So most of these sounds come from you can hear the guitar. This is Michael Winslow doing a Whole Lot of Love. Oh, Skinner. I like Skinner. Now, all that weird sound effects that sounds like fucking distortion, he's doing that with his voice. He's also doing the singing and he's doing the drumming. There is a guy playing acoustic guitar. I almost want to see if I can screen cap this for you guys just to show you what the fuck's going on, because this is fucking ridiculous. I think I can. Can I do it? Oh no, I got Joe Dirty Locks there. Joe Dirty Locks, drop off there, Joe. Get the Joe right here. Yeah, this is fucking Michael Winslow killing it. Have a good night, Santovia. What the fuck? Whoops.
That dog bit me in my hand. He bit me again.
Yeah, there we go. Michael Winslow is a sick human being. I recommend, if you're at all into like seeing people do that kind of shit, you go in a rabbit hole search fest about Michael Winslow. He is so incredibly talented, and it's funny. Yeah, he gets pigeonholed, and you know he's an asshole from Police Academy, or no, not asshole, but not. He's not one of the assholes from Spaceballs, but he is in Spaceballs, the bleeps, the blops, and the bloops. He leads into the asshole scene, but this dude is sick. One more time. I'm sorry. Listen to this shit. This is a man's mouth is doing this. A person is making these sounds. You know, it's not even just that I somehow transitioned to talking about Michael Winslow, but it's not even just that he's doing it, it's how much he's enjoying it. You know, he really is enjoying it. It goes to, okay, to bring this back to Vikings to a certain extent, it goes to what made Ragnar such a great character. It wasn't just that Travis was playing him well, it's that you felt, or I felt while watching it, that Travis was having a ball doing it. It's the people that can eat scenery well, someone like Loki from the Avengers movies, or it's Tom Hiddleston, is that his name? People that can do that well, when you see the joy on their face doing it, it works, you know? And Michael Winslow is one of these guys that just loves what he does so much and has such a unique skill set. I know how I got on this. Bobby McFerrin, who's another talented fucking sick fuck. But what Michael Winslow does with his voice is just insane. Like people want to thought, you know, they'll never be his ilk again. You know, there's no one's going to be able to do this shit ever again. I think the time and effort that went into this guy doing this crap, it's very impressive. Whatever. I love fucking Michael Winslow. He's a fucking amazing. And he's the best part of the Police Academy movies too. And I'm sorry, I'm like on a Michael Winslow, Mike Winslow Hendricks. Yeah, it's crazy. There's no way he's gonna plug into a guitar or something to get that distortion. It just isn't impossible. It's impossible. You can't do this. I'm really I'm really pushing the fucking copyright shit tonight. I'm really doing it. I'm really pushing it. Eye of the Tiger is a great #1 hit from Rocky. Great song. All those like songs from movies are like the Karate Kid song. The fucking you're the best around. Jesus fucking mothercock. Like, seriously, dude. Like I don't get how... Like, how can someone do that? How can someone do that shit with their mouth? How is it fucking possible? Holy fuck, mother shit. Anyone else besides Steve Guttenberg do anything after Police Academy? Well, Michael Winslow did this. The guy who played... Tackleberry was definitely in a few things. I remember seeing him in a few things afterwards. And I mean, Michael Winslow went back to what he did before, stand-up comedy and guest appearances and shit like that. So he went to like that. Bubba Smith was an ex-NFL football player, so he had his NFL pension. And I think he just kind of went back into retirement, so to speak, and that was the peak of his sort of acting career. Some of the other like ones that came on later, obviously Bobcat Goldthwait has had an excellent career. If we go to later on, and Sweet Chuck there has been in a lot of things too. And if we want to go to Lassard's son, who came in Citizens on Patrol, that dude's been in a lot of shit as well. But I think probably the person that's done the best after Police and Captain Harris, the guy who plays Captain Harris, who is the bad guy, the asshole in Mannequin as well, and a couple of other things. He hasn't really done much. But he was excellent playing that dick character. He should show up in like Cobra Kai season 2 or something. They should find a way to bring him in. So, I don't know. Sabotage. Oh, that's a great fucking song. My band actually covers that song. There's no way. He's going to plug that mic. Yeah. Eye of the Tiger. Peter Frampton's needing feedback too. Send Phil some sandwiches. Hey. I'm all for sending sandwiches. Anyone else besides Steve Guttenberg? Bubba Smith. Bobcat is great. Bobcat has probably had that's what I was going to say. Bobcat's probably had the best career. Even though he might not do as many things on air or on screen, he's had amazing success behind the scenes as a director and producer type shit. So Bobcat's had a great career. Great career. He's done a lot of things you'd be surprised. If you want to go down Bobcat's directing and what he's had his finger in, a lot of really funny shit. Let's play that. Let's take a look at Bobcat. Bobcat Goldthwait Goldthwait. I just want to go down before I talk on my ass. His IMDb. We're playing a game of IamADouchebag.com. His directory. 32 credits as director. He directed Shakes the Clown, great fucking movie. Crank Yankers is all thanks to anyone who liked Crank Yankers. That's all directed by Bobcat. He also did The Man Show. He also directed 6 episodes of The Chappelle Show. Jimmy Kimmel Live, he's worked on that show. Important Things with Dimitri Martin. Works with Dimitri Martin. Willow Creek, God Bless America. Patton Oswalt he worked on one of his comedy specials, and was a writer-director of Community. Directed an episode of Community. Worked a lot with Mark Maron in 2015. Directed 14 episodes, and I believe he's a producer of the TV series Maron, which is really good. Those Who Can't, a TV series, I never saw that. American Bigfoot, another Patton Oswalt thing. Bobcat Goldthwait, Misfits and Monsters, and he has a movie coming out, Kevin and Josh. So I think Bobcat behind the scenes has probably had the most success. But I got to go. Good night, everyone. I'm going to start to wrap things up anyway. I'm sort of a babble talk. Bubba Smith is dead and has been since 2012. I didn't know that. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to Bubba Smith. Amazing in those Police Academy movies as Hightower. Great in the cartoon, too. He was in the cartoon. Also, an amazing all-timer football player. So Bubba Smith, it was awesome that he was able to have a second career. I mean, he played football in the age that you got a concussion and they told you to rub some fucking sand on it and go back into the game. I don't want to play that I walked to 50 miles to school, but when I played football in the early 90s even, like, they wouldn't let you have water bottles. My coaches used to say things like, water makes you weak. And pro football players, like, even more so. That was in high school football and Pup Warner and shit. Like, pro football players, even worse. It's like you get injured, you break your fucking back, or you get a fucking huge concussion or some shit. And they're like, yeah, just rub some fucking dirt on it. You'll be better. Very cool. Whole Lotta Love is up there as my favorite Zeppelin songs, but 10 Years Gone is my very favorite. I think that's the thing. And Bobcat is great. Phil, come to Spokane. We'll have some sandwiches. Oh, Tim, one day, buddy. One day. I got to go. Good night. You got to run. I get hurt. Never heard of this guy. Bobcat's very, very funny. Very cool. Whole Lotta Love, 10 Years Gone. This is something I got to say. Zeppelin, people that say Bernie was saying Zeppelin stole music. I mean, there's that whole thing about them stealing Stairway and that court case and all that shit. But a lot of people also say their first two albums were a lot of like ripping off of like early blues stuff, Robert Johnson stuff, and other bands, and even like Jimmy Page's first band, the Yardbirds, doing versions of songs that the Yardbirds were doing. I will accept that for the first two Zeppelin albums, and I know Stairway was in part 4, but even if you look at after 4, like Physical Graffiti, Song Remains the Same, In Through the Outdoor, all those Presents, all those late albums that Zeppelin had, when they started to do more prog and less rock, where they were almost setting the standard for what became prog music, I think that is the era of Zeppelin where they have no contemporary. I think those first couple of Zeppelin albums, they were a good blues band that copied a lot of tunes. They did. In those first 4 albums, essentially, they were killing the blues, rock and roll. They were taking what other bands had done in the past and doing it their way, but in a lot of ways taking. And that's an accurate assumption, an accurate description of what Zeppelin does. Houses of the Holy onward, they were a different band. And I mean, they always were evolving, but the shit that came in the later half of Zeppelin, stuff on Presence, and again, I mentioned all those albums, In Through the Outdoor, fucking Physical Graffiti, the best of all the Zeppelin albums, which is just, there's nothing like the shit on Physical Graffiti. They stole Celtic hymns or something too. Well, Robert Plant was way into Lord of the Rings and Celtic shit. And see, I don't mind. This is the thing about Zeppelin. Yes, they stole shit. That is true. They did. But you know what? They stole it and they did it better than the other people did. So that's okay with my book. If you're going to steal something, do it fucking better. And Zeppelin did it better. Clapton is Robert Johnson. If you haven't seen it, there's an awesome movie called Crossroads with Danielson in it. It's really good. Have you ever heard of Greta Von Fleet? Oh, is that modern band that's being compared to Zeppelin? I haven't heard the band yet, but I've heard of them. I've heard a lot of good stuff. I was talking to my friend Jeff about that as well, and he was saying that they rock. Say it ain't so. Welcome, Jordy. Gene made a machine. Someone's tuning in right now and going, "This isn't Vikings." First of all, I'm looking at a technical difficulty sign for Oz, and someone's talking about Led Zeppelin. What the fuck's up? We got Paul Q in the live motherfucking chat. You guys are fucking amazing. Clapton is an interesting one. I never say this about anyone because you shouldn't say shit like this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I like Clapton better when he was on drugs. I like them, like the Derek and the Dominoes shit and Cream. I fucking love. I don't really like Eric Clapton solo. Derek and the Dominoes is my favorite shit that Clapton ever did. It is true. Give me a second while I play a song so I can do some hippie activities.
Lost, I'm off the rocks, the post edge back at the top. See you there when the bruise is clear. I'm clearly better when I'm dropped. Born through rare, man's got lost. Sick on the bum like an old man mother. What's the hurry to get away? Say I'll bring you when you let go again. Up the words cover, mean to side, both bless each other. Get a life is the mess I see. Don't wanna live to what it's me. My inside mental flaws. All I do, folks rare. Ask me some laughs, I go when I care. All that's great, but it's not the truth. The only truth is talking to you. Your very existence bothers me. You make me feel like a pile of eggs. You take away something I love, the one thing that makes me happy to help my head. You pissed off the wrong person. I just wanna make you suffer for this. Yeah, payback's a bitch, a little bit. Don't worry, 'cause I'm still the end. Don't go with my full win. Check it down for the anger that passes. You go reverse side, like a video, like a projectile. I'm strong, I step out. I'm greater than the mirror of myself. So I close my mouth, I hold my heart. I'm standing on sand, my legs spread apart. Care about the vine that is your line that used to be mine, so I dragged it down the line.
Okay, so I'll catch them in the chat here a little bit. Yeah, everyone likes getting the let out sometimes, even Zeppelin detractors. And drinking. Yes. Oh, awesome band. Yes is crazy. They're definitely more progressive and not for everybody, but I definitely dig. Yes. The Kinks and the Who. Two bands that I have the utmost respect for, and I would almost accept in that conversation as some of the best bands, especially the Who. There's like the Who are nasty. They're a nasty, nasty band, especially with Keith Moon, like original Who, with Keith Moon, who is one of the nastiest drummers ever to grace our ears with fucking drum craziness. But I never could get into the Who too much. I like their hit songs, but I'm just not crazy Who fan. I appreciate them, and I would accept them in that conversation. They're one of the few bands I would say, yeah, like their bass player is sick, their guitar player is sick, their lead singer, maybe it's Robert Daltrey I don't really love, and I think that's what, and I do like him. I just don't love him in the sense of like certain lead singers click with certain people at certain times. There's no rhyme or reason to it. There's certain people that you just like, you hear their voice and it just means something to you in the moment. You know, I know that as being someone that sings for a band. Some people hate our bands simply because they hear my voice and they're like, oh, I hate them. But some people hear my voice and they're like, I love this band. And then they listen to the music afterwards. It's usually a band, if you can hear the vocals, usually a band, whether you like it or not, is for the most part generally decided by the singer. And then you decide if you like the rest of the band. And then you listen to the rest of the band. You're like, oh, shit, this band fucking rocks. And I think The Who is one of those examples of a band that Roger Daltrey, for whatever reason, I'm not the biggest fan of, but the band is sick. And I love them. I think they would definitely be in that conversation. Primus is another band I really like, just randomly, just mentioning Primus. Metallica, early Metallica, pre-Black Album, or a Black Album pre. Similar to the Chili Peppers. Everything past the Black Album for Metallica, Cali, is a little lame to me. Even though their most recent shit has been a little heavy again. But Injustice for All, Kill 'Em All. Kill 'Em All is one of my favorite albums of all time of any band. I fucking love Kill 'Em All. Great fucking crap. Metallica, early Metallica is fucking sick. Fucking sick. Like, scary sick. Cliff Burton, Metallica. Ugh. God damn it. That's Metallica at their prime. And the Black Album's really good, but I think it was, like, bad for them going forward. Like, if it was a one-time deal where they were doing something a little bit more melodic at times, it's fine, but they just became the melodic metal band. Typo Negative. I've seen Typo Negative live a couple times. Or I saw them live a couple times. Pantera is another one. Fucking rest in peace, Dimebag. As someone that performs live on stage in bands and stuff, fucking, what the fuck? Like, the way that, one of the saddest stories ever from, like, how someone was, well, anytime someone's killed, it's very sad in this type of situation. But, like, what happened to that's just one of the most sad things I've ever heard, and, like, horrifying. And we totally lost one of the fucking greats. And Phil Osama, like, I'm gonna kill his last name, but he is one of the best frontmen ever to fucking grace a stage. He is next level sick. Like, as amazing shit. He's one of my favorite frontmen ever. Pantera is incredible. Pantera was amazing live. Like didn't miss a beat. Phil's voice live is haunting, and Dimebag was sick. I saw Pantera twice, once at an Ozfest and once alone as Pantera, and actually that Ozfest, I believe Typo Negative played there as well. The one I went to, crazy. Pantera was the best band. Pantera destroyed the stage. Long Beach Dub All Stars are really good. I've seen them live a couple times. They're good. I also saw Sublime live once. Good stuff. Sailing the Seas of Cheese. Yep. Ooh, Page and Black Paul Q. I am with you there, dude. I saw that Page and Black Crowes show at the Worcester Centrum. Fucking Joe Perry comes out on stage and starts jamming with them from fucking Aerosmith. And one other guy, like the guy from, I want to say from Jay Giles' band, came out too. It was ridiculous. The sickest part of that whole show and that whole tour is Jimmy Page basically just guitar soloed over the entire Black Crowes material. And the fact that they played Zeppelin stuff too was just sick. Sick. There's actually a bootleg of an Aerosmith show where Jimmy Page plays with Aerosmith too, and it's almost similar, where it's just Jimmy Page in the background playing guitar solo over all of Aerosmith's music. Oh, don't tell me anything happened to Willie Nelson. Don't fuck with my emotions here, Tim Gersh. Don't fuck. I'm gonna look like Willie Nelson in 2 years. Don't. Coda was the worst. In fairness, I saw Plant and Page live. I unfortunately couldn't see Zeppelin. I'm almost old enough. But actually, no, I would have been old enough. I would have been very young. But I saw Plant and Page about 5 or 6 times on their reunion tours in the late 90s, early 2000s. Where was that when it was? I saw them the first time where they played off those, like, the songs they played in that MTV special, and then I saw them once live where they basically played all Zeppelin songs. It was like an all Zeppelin situation. And then I saw them once where they toured on the newer album that they put out, Welcome to Clarksville, I think it was called. And I also at that time saw John Paul Jones live. And John Paul Jones played in this 3-piece progressive kind of band that it was him on this guy playing a Chapman stick, which if you don't know what a Chapman stick is, look it up. And a drummer, and John Paul Jones playing all sorts of different instruments, and he was sick. He's the bass player of Zeppelin, if people don't know, and also the keyboard player of Zeppelin. He was just ridiculous. Yeah, so yeah, I did see those tours. One of those Rock and Roll Hall of Fame performances has Zeppelin playing on it too. Gollum and the Evil One crept up and slipped away with her. There's another one too. I think is it the Battle of Evermore? Also has some Lord of the Rings stuff in it too. I love how Plant was a Lord of the Rings slut and kind of threw all that shit in there. No, I don't want to hear it, Tim. Wonderful Bug, hello, welcome. I almost feel like I have to cut this video into 2 parts and just have this be like a music section, but But no. We'll leave this at the end. If you've made it this far, congratulations. Thank you. You win the prize. Hashtag Willie Nelson. No, but I love the crows too. Oh, the crows are sick. True story. I was in this place called the Orpheum in Boston, and Black Crows were playing a show, and this kid got the security there were taking out potheads. The Black Crows, and this has nothing to do with the music. The Black Crows are just an amazing band. They stopped the show. Stop the fucking show, and because someone told them, and they said, we won't play if you kick out people for smoking, and they let everyone smoke. It's great. Black Crows are amazing. They're one of my favorite bands of all time, and one of the bands I've seen the most too. They'd be on that list of bands I've seen extremely often. So I guess. I mean, I keep talking. I keep talking about music. Hashtag We Survived Vikings. I like that one. If you made it this far in the podcast, please send out somewhere the hashtag We Survived Vikings. Let us know. Keep the discussion going. If you have and you want to keep this talk going, you can jump on in our Discord group and jump in the Vikings room and start babbling, or the music rooms, and talk about this shit. Also, make sure, like I said, you join us this coming Sunday. You can also, as the last minute shopping shit, if you're going to do any shopping on Amazon, please help. This is it helps us a little bit. It's like change in a jar. It doesn't cost you any extra. But if you start all your Amazon shopping with that link right there, Amazon.com/shop/TheIssuesGuy, it helps the channel a little bit. And also, if you think about joining Patreon and get a special bonus podcast every month and get your babblery right up in your face, you can get right up in me. And we do appreciate all the people that are already patrons and all the people that do help us out via super chat and help us out with our affiliate links and all that sort of shit. But yes, as the holiday fucking season approaches, if you're gonna do any fucking shopping, start your fucking shopping with this. Seriously, like, we get like 25 cents if you spend $100. It's like not a lot, but it's coins in a jar and it adds the fuck up. So really do appreciate that if you start your shopping with an Amazon link. Okay, that being said, Thank you, Iron Throne. Everybody, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Do really appreciate it. If you haven't already and you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Share the channel with a friend. Please help us keep growing. Keep moving. Keep pushing as we're starting to approach the final season of Game of Thrones. Also have Star Trek Discovery in the Orville coming back soon. The Punisher coming up. Just announced that's coming out in January to be canceled in February, of course. And I'm going to be giving True Detective Season 3 a shot. Love Season 1. Season 2, I couldn't quite be there. But Season 3 is looking interesting. It's created by someone who worked on Better Call Saul on a couple of episodes. And also has to do with the Ozarks somehow. But yeah, that's premiering soon as well. So a lot of new shows and a lot of fun stuff coming up soon. Also, Matt and I will be back doing some Sopranos podcasts sometime in the next couple of weeks while Matt is on school vacation. And, yeah. So thank you, everyone, for checking this out. Thank you all the people that support us. Love you guys. Talk to you guys next time. Wait, what are you still doing here? Show's over. I keep wanting to always do the Ferris Bueller ending, but I can't quite ever pull it off. Love you guys. Talk to you guys next time.